at lunch, Sri Lanka 76 for 2. Other cricket being played around the world. There's a one-day international being played in Dhaka at the moment. The last time I went to a one-day international in Dhaka between West Indies and Bangladesh was in the World Cup. It took us 24 hours to get there, and then Bangladesh were all out for 60, and the game ended in about 2.5 hours. And then back we headed to India. But West Indies, who lost the first one day very heavily, a 66 for 5 in their second innings in the 24th over. They gave debuts to 6 players in that first one day, so it's a much changed West Indies side. And Shakib Al Hassan is back in action after his 1-year ban. He took wickets in the first game. He's got another one. He's taken 1 for 12 in his 5th over. Anyway, that one is going on at the moment. And there's also Big Bash action in that stadium in Melbourne under the roof, although the roof is open for that game, or has been open for that game between Perth Scorchers and Hobart Hurricanes. And Perth Scorchers have got Jason Roy and Liam Livingston in their line-up, and they didn't make a huge contribution today, but they made 20s, and David Milan is out there at the moment for the Perth Scorchers, who are chasing 180 in a 23 for 2 in the 5th over. And those of you who've been following our cricket coverage on 5 Live Sports Extra and BBC Sounds over the winter will know we've been bringing you Big Bash coverage, and we will continue to do so as that tournament progresses, moving towards the knockout stages. Now they're very nearly, after 5-6 weeks of action, they're very nearly at the knockout stage of that competition. So Milan is there at the moment, and Hobart Hurricanes, well, they're stiff chase really, 180 to beat the Perth Scorchers in the Docklands Stadium. 76 for 2 in Gaul. No need for a roof at the moment in Gaul, although I see on my weather app there's a possibility of some showers this afternoon. Although you look at the weather at the moment, it looks perfect. There's some quite thick white fluffy clouds, but lots of blue sky as the Sri Lanka not-out batsmen make their way to the middle after lunch. And it was reasonably straightforward for them. They had to work hard on this Gaul surface, but England really didn't threaten the third wicket, it has to be said, after the 2 early ones. Is Sir Alistair Cook with me, or is he still eating his breakfast? Are you there, Cookie? Tuffers is there.
It's Tuffers.
Hello,
here.
Tuffers.
Tuffers here from the Oval.
It's great to have you with me, Tuffers. Have you finished your breakfast?
Yes,
Are you
I
happy?
have. Thanks very much.
Good.
Yes, I'm glad you gave that little chat about the IPL and everything. I just managed to finish it off. Beautiful. Looking forward to an afternoon session. I think England are going to be made to toil here a bit.
Yeah, well, Tiramani and Matthews are digging in again, as they did in that second innings of the first Test match. Tiramani making 111, and Angela Matthews 71 from 219 balls. So some work ahead for England's bowlers this afternoon.
Flat pitch.
Yeah, not as much in the pitch. I think it slightly surprised us, actually, thinking that there might be a bit more in this one. It might spin a bit early, might spin from the start. The first one spun from the start.
Yeah.
But this one, not so much. I mean, barely any turn at all, Tuffers, really.
Well,
just a fraction, but
yeah, I mean, first day of a Test match, it should be pretty flat. For
I know, but it's not always the case, is it?
No, I think they put all their eggs in one basket in that first Test match a bit, and just expected to play better. They won the toss and then had an absolute nightmare first innings. If they'd have batted anything like in that first innings, they could have got England in a bit of a tricky situation on a pitch like that. But then I think they've just decided to just leave a bit more grass on it, flatten it out a little bit. They've won the toss again, and as Russell Arnold was saying, if they can bat 4 sessions and put some pressure onto England, because it will turn later on, day 2 or day 3 perhaps.
Yeah, it just has the feeling of a long game about it, this one.
Oh yes.
Here is Anderson bowling the first ball after lunch, and forward goes Tiramani, pushing out towards cover, and there's no run. You can follow the live text commentary as well via the BBC Sport website, and we'll be bringing you ball-by-ball commentary throughout this Test match, however long it goes. And the last one on that spinning pitch, Tuffers, went to the 5th day.
Yes, very surprised me.
Yeah, it looked like, at one stage it looked like a 3-dayer.
Yeah.
This one looks like a 5-dayer. Might end in 3 days. Who knows?
Yes, that's right. I mean, the one thing about this is that I've been listening to your forecast on your app. That it is sunny.
Here's Anderson bowling. Oh, and is he caught behind? I think he is.
Beauty.
That's a lovely delivery from Anderson. He's done it again from round the wicket, and he's nicked off Tiramani.
Oh,
that's fine bowling from Anderson, who has figures of 3 for 4 in his 6th over, and Sri Lanka are 76 for 3. Timani holds his head back there, frustrated. First over after lunch. Anderson got that to just move away a fraction, and that's all he needed, that fraction. And it's 3 down Sri Lanka.
What a delivery by James Anderson, straight after lunch, just what the captain wants. Round the wicket to Tiramani, 43, looking just to start again after lunch, and as you say, from that angle round the wicket, perfectly pitched, perfect angle, and then just that little bit of a wave movement to Tiramani, got him to poke that outside edge, or poke that bat out at it, perfect line and length, little bit of movement, feather of an edge through to Butler, perfect bit of bowling. No wonder he's got 602 test wickets. Beautiful bit of bowling.
Make it 603 now.
Oh, was it 6-3?
Yeah,
603. I mean, that was
3 today.
Yeah, that was just. I mean, that's all the experience in the world there. You know, you're coming out after lunch. He would know that wicket's flat, and you've got to dig in and just sort of hold the line and length, and you know, and it just goes to show that after a break, the batsmen always have to start again, and that's that crucial time in the subcontinent. You've got to, at the beginning of and the end of sessions, you've got to really put some pressure on by just bowling in the right areas, and you get that little bit of movement, and you get the wicket. Beautiful bit of bowling. Oh, that's cheered me up. Wonderful.
Yeah, it's a lovely piece of bowling from Anderson.
Bit wide, perhaps, but I mean, it ended up being wide, and he just followed it. But from round the wicket angle, you know, if that goes sort of straight on, it's just perhaps clipping off stump, but it just moved away at the last.
And because it's with the angle, you're probably drawn to play at it when you might not need to do so when you look at it again.
Yeah. That's exactly, you know, you sit down there before the game, and you sit there and go, right, okay, Jimmy, what are you going to be looking to do to Tiramani? He said, well, you know, if he's on about 40 odd, I'm going to come round the wicket, bowl that angle, trying to get him poking a forward defensive outside offside. That's just exactly how you write it up in the book. You know, that's exactly what they would have discussed, and it's about, you know, producing your skills and getting your skills right. That was beautiful.
Well, I've written down in my book, Tiramani caught Butler, bowled Anderson 43, 76 for 3 in the 27th over of the day's playing. They're bowling 26 overs in that morning session. So what was that, second ball after lunch?
Yeah.
And so Chandimal is out there.
Just gives you a little lift as well, doesn't it, as a bowling side.
And Anderson moves in with a couple of slips in, bowls to Chandimal, drifting in on the pads then. It's clipped away. Chandimal is away straight away. Leach running round the boundary. Picks it up, and again it's another one that he might have got 3 there. Matthews is not the quickest between the wickets, so they only picked up 2. 78 for 3. This is the partnership. You always feel this is the partnership in the middle order for Sri Lanka. Matthews and Chandimal.
Yeah.
Matthews.
Well, it's partnerships that kill you in the subcontinent. I mean, it just wears you down, and batting seems to get easier. You know, even if it is turning a bit or something, once you get over that initial stage of, you know, 30, 40, 50 deliveries even, you know what I mean, and it just becomes a little bit more easy to sort of create partnerships.
Matthews, Anderson bowls to Chandimal, and Chandimal allows it to go by outside the off stump. So Anderson, well, he's in his 39th year now, and he's come out, he hasn't bowled, you know, in a proper match.
3 for 4.
He's taken 3 for 4 since August.
Brilliant.
First 3 wickets.
He'll be sitting there going, well, Broady, I thought you bowled well in that first innings in the first test. A bit expensive. He's got his 3 for 4. Unbelievable.
And he sets off again and goes into bowl to Chandimal, and Chandimal nearly plays on there. Inside edge onto his back pad, and the ball drops on the crease in front of him.
And what this pitch is doing, Simon, he's just got that little bit of extra bounce. We saw the second wicket go down, didn't we? Just bounced on who was it? Who got
Shado Fernando.
Yes, just bounced on him, didn't it? Got the inside edge, and that one's similar there to Chandimal as well. Just back of a length and just bouncing up a bit and just hitting that sort of inside half of the bat and going down. That this time just sort of just stopped by his back foot.
Yeah, but a good fortune. Anderson bowls to Chandimal, who comes forward driving nicely, but straight to Lawrence, fielding in the covers, and there is no run, and that is the end of Anderson's over. Taking 3 for 6 from 6 overs, and Sri Lanka 78 for 3.
See, that seems a poor shot for me from Chandimal. Just that shot. I mean, I know it's sort of like, you know, but it was a wide, pitched up delivery, full ball. Jimmy Anderson on the money all the time, little bit of a way swing as well. He played that well away from his body, could have got an edge, could have dragged it on, or just sort of like skimmed one into sort of an extra cover as well. For an experienced player, for me, that's a leave ball all day long. You're two, you've just come in, you're just starting, you're in this. That is fraught with danger.
Well, you talk about him being an experienced player. It's Chandimal's 60th Test match.
Yeah.
He's 31 years of age. His Test average is just above 40.
He's faced 4 deliveries there, and he's playing Jimmy Anderson on the up to a wideish delivery outside off stump with sort of a bit of a flamboyant extra cover drive. You've got to let that go.
Right, 2 right-handers out there now, Chandimal and Matthews, and it's going to be the off-break bowler to bowl the first over from the other end after lunch.
I wonder why they didn't go. Might have gone with Leach, I don't know.
You normally feel off spinner to the left-handers, left armour to the right-handers. I mean, that's not set in stone, but here's best bowling. It's full. It's driven by Matthews. He goes bobbling up towards long on. Anderson is there, and Matthews goes through for a single. Matthews moves to 27, and Sri Lanka 79 for 3. Enjoyed the chat at lunchtime about the India series and the ramifications of the Australia series and the ramifications of it. The future of 1 or 2 players will be on the podcast later if you missed any of that on BBC Sounds.
What a series.
Wrap up this day's play as well. 79 for 3. I was talking earlier about whether this is going to be the India decade from now on. Whether this is going to be their golden age, a bit like the West Indies and Australia in previous generations. Best bowls to Chandimal. Chandimal turns it into the onside towards mid-wicket. Michael made the comment that they have to win in England. I think that's right. I mean, winning away. I mean, they win at home, and their record at home. I don't know. Zoltz could dig it out. I think they've only lost 1 series since 2004 at home. 79 for 3. Chandimal is there on 2, and Best goes into bowl to him. Chandimal is back, playing into the onside. And
that would have been Cookie's mob, wouldn't it?
Yeah,
Sir
that's right.
Mob.
Yeah, that's right.
Over there.
Yeah, that was an incredible victory that was.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, they seem to have so much strength and depth. And one thing that's happened, all the money in Indian cricket now, is that the out centres, if you like. Sorry, back to that moment. Best bowls, and Chandimal pushes into the offside, wants a single to deepish mid-off. It's not there. Is the money has enabled them to develop areas of the country that weren't previous strongholds. You think of Mumbai and Delhi and Chennai and Bangalore, places like that, and Calcutta, but now they're able to go all around the country, use stadia and facilities, and they're picking up players from everywhere now. Best bowls driven by Chandimal towards mid-on. It was a horrible fumble from Anderson. It's gone away for 4. Well, Anderson, if you'd done that off Anderson's bowling, you'd be kicking the turf.
Don't look at him, Dom.
It's very frustrating for a bowler. It was a single at most. They were trying to affect the run out. That was why he probably took his eye off it, just seeing where Chandimal was. It's a slightly bobbly outfield as well. I don't think he even touched it, actually.
Didn't get a mitt on it.
Yeah, it went straight past him.
Yes, just raised the eyes to look at the run out. As you say, you don't get often to see that from James Anderson, to be fair.
10th 4 of the day. Sri Lanka 83 for 3. Last ball of the over coming up. Best bowl to Chandimal. It hits it firmly this time to deepish mid-off. There's no run. It gets there quickly, so Curran picks up and stops the run. 83 for 3 at the end of the over.
I think also about this Indian side as well, and the youngsters coming through with this sort of IPL and everything like that, and no sort of necessary battle scars. It happened to England, didn't it, a bit, when we beat the Aussies in 2005. So it was like, hold on a minute, okay, we're chasing 300 and odd, you know what I mean, who cares, let's go out and play our shots and enjoy it, you know what I mean. Who's Nathan Lyon, who's Pat Cummins, and who's these kind of guys, a bit like who's McGrath, who's Warne and all that. And they're so attacking minded now, the Indian player, when perhaps in years and decades gone by, perhaps it was more about wristy flicks and technique and occupying the crease. It's now sort of all guns blazing cricket, all round, and it was a fabulous series, great to watch. And then I've also got that lovely balance with Pujara and all that. There's just a nice feel about it at the moment. You're right, I think they could be in possession for a while.
Andy?
India at home since that tour in which Alistair Cook led England to a 2-1 series victory late in 2012 have played 34 tests at home in India, won 28, drawn 5, lost only 1. So an extraordinary home record. Australia, even with that recent series defeat, won 29, lost 6 in that time. New Zealand won 24, lost 3. They've been the 3 strongest sides in home conditions, but India the toughest.
Anderson, Bolton, Matthews outside the off stump. There's no stroke. So India at home, that 1 series defeat since, is it that I'm right on that result, 2004, something like that, isn't it? It goes back quite a long way.
I think I'll get the series results up for you now.
Yeah. But the challenge for them is to win away consistently. That, as West Indies and Australia used to do in the 80s and 1990s into the 2000s. But it's the strength in depth, it seems to me now, that Indian cricket has. Really good players coming through the competition for places.
No fear.
Here is Matthews driving, beautiful stroke, doesn't beat mid-off though. Good diving save by Curran. It was on his left hand, which helped. That was a nice shot from Matthews, nice clipped-on drive, well timed. Matthews stays on 27. I 83 for 3.
I think England will put up a good performance in India. I can't see it being an absolute walloping over there, but you just get the feeling that they'll be too strong.
It's that feeling of being worn down a bit, I think, that you often get in India. Typified by that last test match that England played there. Anderson bowls outside the off. Was a good delivery, that coming back for a fraction, just keep the batsman thinking there. Fraction of movement in. Matthews leaning forward and letting it go by, and it went past the off stump. In Chennai, England made 477. I'm
700.
Fine, that's great, isn't it? 477 in your first innings. Can't lose. We secured the game. India, it was 750.
They go whizzing past you at a good clip as well.
Yeah.
Lose by an innings.
So you score 477 and lose by an innings.
Unbelievable. That's the fear.
Anderson bowls shorter, and Matthews tucked up looking to play into the onside. Sit back down the pitch, and Anderson bends down to pick up, and there's no run.
And it is a fear. It is a fear when you nothing worse than sort of in a funny sort of way getting yourself in a good position, because then as a bowling side sometimes you're always thinking, well, it's a bit like when Australia lost at Headingley, oh well, crikey, you look at the stats, this will be a world record, it's never been done beforehand, and in the back of your mind as a bowling side it's always like, I hope it's not today, please don't let this be the world record.
Anderson bowls outside the off stump. Matthews comes forward and across. Probably could have left that, but he elected to play it.
I mean, when we were in there in '92, the fella on the mic was the most busiest fella. The fella on the tannoy, because it was like, this is a world record for the 4th record partnership on a Tuesday in Chennai, and it's a bit cloudy. And then about 3 overs later, there was another record he was talking about, and you're just sitting there. You're right, it wears you down. Yeah. It does wear you down.
Anderson, relentless so far, bowls to Matthews. Matthews plays a fidgety defensive shot into the offside towards Lawrence at cover, and there's no run, and Anderson's now bowled 7 overs and taken 3 for 6.
Wow.
And it's 83 for 3. Chandimal 6, Matthews 27, Tiramani out for 43, Pereira for 6, and Fernando for 0.
That goal sunshine in, as you say, 3 for 6. What a little gem for a skipper he is, and has been for all these years.
Yeah, they're going to miss him when he's gone.
Cool. Yeah. The cupboard's not looking totally bare though, is it?
No, but it's not easy replacing a 600 wicket bowler.
No. And with the skill and the flexibility to change conditions, and then to sort of book into line and length, and then when it's happening, get shape and movement when conditions suit. It takes a bit of time to get that experience and have it to call upon.
Go, Andy.
So India at home since 2004, when they lost 2-1 to Australia, have played 27 series, and England's win in 2012 was the only defeat they've suffered. Going further back, in 49 series since 1987, when Pakistan beat them 1-0 in a 5-test series. They've lost only to South Africa in a 2-game series in 2000, Australia in 2004 and England in 2012. So 3 series defeats, and they lost 49 at home. That's including one-off test matches.
Not bad.
Decent.
Mind you, Liverpool lost to Burnley last night, and I think they had lost at home for however long it was.
I saw that. Yeah, so there you go. It's always in the back of your mind once you go on these great runs.
Curran into the attack, round the wicket bowls. First ball, the new spell is driven by Chandimal towards wideish mid-off, and there's no run. This is an interesting move then, with Chandimal out there. Curran into the attack, so they've taken off Bess, and Curran starting this spell by bowling round the wicket, Tuppers.
Well, yeah, I think they might have just seen that shot that Chandimal came out and played to James Anderson and just gone, crikey, O'Reilly, hold on a minute, let's just get him at a seam again. And he played one just there, really, quite a wide delivery. I know it was full, but there wasn't, like a great foot movement to it. There's a man on the drive on the offside, an extra cover and a mid-off, so they've got that area and a slip, got that offside covered. Trying to get him an outside edge one here.
Curran, this scuttling run, bowls to Chandimal, is in behind that, fractionally squared up there, pushing away into the offside, and there's no run. Sam Curran is playing in his 21st Test match today.
Hasn't lost many, has he?
Well, his record is 114, drawn 2, lost 4.
Oh, he's lost 4.
Yeah, well, he's been involved in 4 defeats, and he hasn't lost them all on his own, of course. There are 10 others as well, but it'd be unfair to blame him, wouldn't it? But
yeah, sometimes it doesn't feel like it.
Yes, it's a very good record. I think he's a cricketer with something about him. Here he is now. Into bowl to Chandimal. Chandimal drives again, reaching for it a fraction. Goes towards mid-off. There's no run.
They've got 2 men on the drive. 2 men on the drive, and they're just looking. Sam Curran, perhaps just around the wicket, a little bit wide of off stump, and looking to make Chandimal push into that offside from full deliveries. And he's obliging. He looks like he doesn't want to leave the ball, Chandimal. He wants to feel bat on ball.
Yeah. Got a slip and a gully in, and those 2 fielders that Tuppers was referring to. Curran goes in and bowls, and forward comes Chandy, pushing it to the short mid-off fielder, or silly mid-off fielder.
Curran. You might actually see Curran just roll his fingers across the top of the seam and bowl a few little sort of like quick left-arm spinners almost, little cutters, just to try and take a bit of pace off, or just to try to make the ball stick in the surface and bring those 2 men on the drive in.
Curran, of course, is disappearing after this Test match. He's one of those who's been dispatched.
Yeah.
Goes in now and bowls to Chandimal outside the off stump. That was the ball, wasn't it? You hope he drove at that one. He didn't. He resisted the temptation. It was a bit wider, and Chandimal exaggeratedly pulled the bat inside the line. Andy.
Sorry.
Well, one of the reasons England have gone to Curran here is Chandimal's record against left-arm seam. He averages 29 overall against left-arm seam, compared with 36 against right-arm seam. But specifically against left-arm round the wicket, he's been out 9 times and has averaged 16 to left-arm seamers around the wicket.
Curran bowls to Chandimal. That one homing in on off-stump, fraction shorter as well. And it's knocked away into the onside towards mid-wicket. There is no run. It's the end of the over. We've had 30 overs, so we're a third of the way through the day's play. Sri Lanka winning the toss this morning, batting first at 83 for 3. Curran's bowled 6 overs, 0 for 20. Matthews has 27. Chandimal has 6. More from you, Tuppers. And then you've got to change your commentator. It'll be Dan Norcross.
Well, they've obviously done a bit of homework, Dan, from those stats, haven't they?
Looks like it.
Yeah. And it was lovely, actually. We could just see that developing exactly from the first shot that Chandimal came in, when he's only faced about 3 deliveries to James Anderson, that sort of upward push outside off stump. So, yeah, it's good captaincy.
It's a very sort of subcontinent field, isn't it? You see that quite a lot, but it's an exaggerated version of it.
Yeah.
The short extra cover, the sort of short mid-off, and quite short in at point as well. All for that, just not quite getting over the top of the ball. Anderson, with 3 for 6, is in, gets a thick outside edge of Angelo Matthews' bat as he pokes at it suspiciously, as you do. The thing with Anderson, he doesn't. Everything feels, I think, there's this kind of menace and crafty, wily suspicion that goes on.
Yeah, it looks like we've seen Wood and Curran bowl there, which have been pretty flat. The wicket looks flat, but it's just that length. It's that beautiful length where you can't smother on the front foot, can't go back on the back foot. You're just playing that half sort of shot.
Here's Anderson again.
Yeah.
Again, Matthews plays this with exactly that exaggerated caution. His whole body almost is just determined to sort of nullify the effect of the ball. And it's not as if, Anderson's bowling at about 82 miles an hour and the pitch is not exploding. The ball's not doing anything particularly wild or unusual, but the batsman is just constantly worried about what it's going to do.
That's the person who's bowling the delivery that does that. As you get a bit older, I used to get away with a lot more half volleys.
Oh, right. Well, Ian Botham certainly did, didn't he? Got a lot of short, wide ones outside the off stump. Forward more solidly this time is Matthews to a fuller ball into the covers. There's no run. And
this is what we're talking about. People have been talking about, with India coming up, Don Bess and Jack Leach and everything like that. Really at the start of their careers, right at the start of their careers. When a youngster comes on the bowl as a spin bowler, if it's half volley, Virat Kohli smash, you know what I mean? If it had been a Graham Swan or someone like that, they just treat it with a little bit more respect. So experience buys you a little bit of time with the ball.
Anderson in. Matthews works this into the onside but can't beat diving Bairstow at short mid wicket. There's no run again.
I suppose it's called respect, isn't it?
Yes.
A bit of respect, you think, okay, I'm just going to,
So can I put it to you, would Sri Lanka score any runs if Broad was bowling at the other end? Because Anderson's got 3 for 6 off 7.4. Andy will be able to tell me Broad's figures in the first test. He had an epically parsimonious spell of a number of spells of bowling, didn't he, in the first test?
Yeah, it was the second innings. He was none for 14 from 17 overs and 11 maidens, which is one of the most economical innings analysis by a fast bowler.
Anderson in and pushing forward again, slightly away from his body, is Matthews into the offside. No run. The difference here is that Anderson's got similar economy rate with better, one ball shy of 8 overs.
Better.
But he's got 3 wickets to boot.
I know. But the only trouble with that, though, if they did play and bowl, at the end of the day, they'd be 4 for 6. There'd be nothing left.
They've only about 71 for 5 after 90 overs, I think. Probably
but there'd just be a puddle at the end of their run-up.
Here is Anderson to complete the over, played and missed by Matthews. That is a terrific over. He's just done nothing particularly extravagant there, and then the last ball just pushed the ball out just that little bit wider, and Matthews, flat-footed, wanting to feel a firm bat on ball, has gone after it and was a fraction of a scintilla of a smidgen away from getting an edge on that.
Beautiful bit of bowling, really, and that's just playing with lines and actually he's hitting this beautiful immaculate leg, but that's just playing with where you're landing on the crease and letting go and delivery positions, just using the crease a little bit, and also just playing with your line a touch as well, just bowling that a little bit wider. Go on, and I've got him in this rhythm of thinking I'm going to be on off stump, a little bit full, a little bit wider, feet not quite in the right position, and then just the bat comes flicking out. Beautiful, but moving the batsman around the crease.
Isn't it an entrancing spectacle?
It is
glorious
swing bowling, real swing bowling at its best is beautiful, but even that is for the purest, beautiful bit of bowling.
Curran in, start a new over. Chandimal defends to Bairstow at that short mid-off position, and there is no run. 83 for 3. You can hear Jimmy Anderson, of course, on the new Tailenders podcast, and Ellen Oldroyd tweeted today, so he sounded a little bit grumpy. He doesn't like to miss any games. I mean, I find that staggering that a man of his age doesn't think I might miss a game of Gaul on a difficult deck for a quick bowler. But on BBC Sounds you can catch that as Curran is in, driven in the air, but past the cover and through to the boundary for 4. A little bit loose from Chandimal. He'll be happy that he got the boundary, but I don't think Curran will be too distressed to see the shot being played, as it went well in front of square, but it's a packed field out there. Well, actually, no, he hit it into the ground. It's my slight optical illusion watching it on the television, because he hit it into the ground and then bounced up into the air. So it's a fine shot on Chandimal, but he's still looking to play. 87 for 3. Andy Zaltzman's itching to get in because he has something for us.
Well, 20 dot balls in a row before that boundary. In terms of Broad's spell and its place in the most economical of the millennium, 4th most economical spell of 12 overs or more by a seamer since November 2000.
Curran in, worked into the onside. There is no run. What a time to be alive, Andy, to be able to witness 15 overs, none for 13 or whatever it was.
17 overs, none for 14. Umesh Yadav.
14.
has the most economical. He's generally got an attacking bowler and a high economy rate, 3.5 and over, but he had 3 for 9 off 21 against South Africa in Delhi in a game in which South Africa scored 143 all out and 143 overs trying to bat for a draw.
That was De Villiers, was it? De Villiers and Du Plessis? Or?
De Villiers, I think, had 40 odd off 290 balls. So he has gears.
He does have gears, has many a gear. Curran in round the wicket, solidly forward in defence is Chandimal. That was a lovely looking defensive shot, played to wide mid-off. There's no run. Reminds me, they say that Ian Botham was proudest of an innings of, I think was it exactly 50 at the Oval in 1987 in a game when Pakistan racked up 700 and England's only option was to go for the draw, and he got 50 of about 280 balls or something mad.
Well, I got a very good 2 at Madras off a number of deliveries. I think Andy might have looked it up before.
Yeah,
batting with Graham Hick.
Curran in, that's worked into the onside. It's fielded by Lawrence. He's moving to his right, 87 for 3. Not a lot of quick bowling.
Kapil Dev was about 75. and we had about 4 offers, but I think I might have faced a lot of balls. I think I was actually going for the longest Test naught.
Oh, which Jeff Allett has got, has he?
Yeah, I think it was something like that, and I got a 2.
Because didn't you play in a game when was it the game that Jeff Allett got naught against England, New Zealand against England? They clung on for 8 hours and hours.
No, that was Danny Morrison. That was
Danny Morrison.
Sorry, just made my morning. Yeah.
Curran in on the pads, clipped away.
You get me up. You get me up at 4:30 in the morning. Sorry.
I'll just finish that. 91 for 3, Chandimal 14, Matthews 27. I'm sorry, Tuffers, for reminding you of that. But thing was, you kept me up in the morning listening to that. I was at university and I had the radio on and I thought, you're going to win any minute here.
Sorry, the champagne went flat and warm and everything.
You had a good, but you did win a game.
We won the series.
Yeah, but didn't you take 6
or 7 for, that was a couple of years before that, I think. I can't even remember that. But yeah, no, DK, Danny Morrison, that was horrific. Anyway, as the sun comes up over the Oval.
91 for 3 after 32. Yes, it's absorbing, fantastic stuff. But we're going to have to say goodbye to Tuffers, I think, because Alistair Cook's going to come and join him. Let's get over to Andy.
Before you go, Tuffers, 2 not out in 81 minutes in Mumbai of 40 balls to follow you. 22 not out off 61 in Chennai.
There you go, 81.
You love batting out there.
On fire.
We should sign you up for this series. You're obviously an India specialist. 91 for 3. Matthews facing up to Anderson, who has figures of 3 for 6 from 8 overs, and Matthews is reaching for this, I say, back of a length. To say it's the Anderson length. He's pummeling that part of the pitch. He's giving absolutely nothing away. Ball's pushed into the offside. There's no run. It's wonderfully absorbing stuff to watch when Anderson bowls, which is not to have a go at any other of England's bowlers, but Anderson is cut above everybody else here at the moment, as Alistair tries to get his headphones on without taking the broadcast down, which would be a bit interesting. It's worked, I think. 91 for 3. Anderson in. Matthews leaves us alone. A little wider. Tempter. Matthews was not to be drawn in. Alistair Cook, welcome back from you were ministering to Radio 4 a moment ago. It's a hive of activity here in our eerie, in the Test Match special box at the Oval. I could hear you talking to Radio 4 while this match was going on here. Tuffers talking about Anderson. What are you looking at here?
I have just seen a fox who's just wandering across the square. I mean, the poor thing's got a bit of a limp.
Limping, actually.
Front left paw is not looking too good, but he's just strolling across the Test wicket as we don't. No, don't do that on the Test wicket. Anyway, he's just wandering off.
Well, no, let's not go into that. Here at the Oval. 91 for 3. Clipped away into the onside, straight to Bairstow at short mid-wicket, and there's no run. Yes, if you're wondering, joining us gone just about 7:30, and you're not aware of the way we're broadcasting this series, we're all over the place in more ways than one. We've got a team up in Salford, which is Michael Vaughan and Simon Mann. We've got Jonathan Agnew in his attic in the Beaver. We've got Andy Zaltzman in his stats shed in Streatham, and Alistair Cook, Bill Tufnell and I are here at the Oval as Matthews defends again slightly uncertainly. And it's played back up the wicket. There's no run. And there's a really tremendous piece of writing, Pulitzer Prize winning piece of writing by Adam Mountford, our producer, who talks you through all of it, actually. And it is good. I even retweeted it. I thought it was that good. Yeah. So, you know, you've got to go some to get a retweet from me, in which he describes the whole setup and how it's all come about and the pitfalls of doing it this way, but the necessity as well. 91 for 3, Sri Lanka. Matthews on strike. Still can't get a run off Anderson. Slip is in. Anderson in. Wide of the off stump, goes through very low to Butler, around about ankle height. There's no run. Anderson's just started to sweat and puff a bit here.
So I was just watching that Fox. We knew Jimmy's going to bang a length.
Yeah.
We knew he was going to be
There's really no
thereabouts.
point in me, is there, until something unusual happens.
And this three-legged Fox trying to work out how it was going to get over the boundary boards.
Oh yeah. What did he
He kind of scrabbled up, and now he's just disappeared into that stand. I never know the name of any of these stands, but
how
by the
dare
school.
you?
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
And off he's gone. So that's made my morning. Actually, I enjoyed that.
Well, I think he was thwarted. There were a number of seagulls here, and I think he had his eye on one or two of them, and they lured him in. Anderson in. Again, on the front foot, defending is Matthews. Another maiden over, 9 overs, 3 for 6. James Anderson, quite fantastic spell of bowling. Firstly, first spell was obviously the first spell of the day, and then the first spell after lunch, and Sri Lanka 91 for 3.
You know, we've been speaking a lot about, you know, the Leach and Bess's, you know, no cricket, lack of rhythm, and then this guy who's, I know they're totally different ends of their career, and I'm not obviously down playing how well Leach and Bess have bowled, how much they struggle with the rhythm. I'm not slagging them off that way, but just say James hasn't bowled since August, and he just hasn't looked like he hasn't been away. It's unbelievable. I can't even remember one bad ball he's bowled. Maybe Chandimal's first ball, where we obviously you go for the stumps. I mean, that's might have been a tad ball. He clipped it for 2, but apart from that, it's just been absolutely immaculate. And you know, England are so lucky to have him.
It's also brilliant to watch. I mean, it's partly we get messianic about Test cricket here on Test Match Special. Unsurprisingly, the name sort of helps on that. But it's extraordinary how sort of nothing happening can be absorbing, because something is happening. Actually, it's just you have to read the runes of it. It's quite fantastic stuff from Anderson. Current left arm round the wicket, starts a new over, and Chandimal lets this go by. Chandimal has adopted what began as a Steve Smith lead, has been taken on a whole new level by Marnus Labuschagne. And where do you rate Chandimal's leave in the Smith-Labuschagne index of really annoying leaves?
Well, not that highly, I don't think. No, yet.
But he's getting there, though, isn't he? I mean, he's got the technique, the flip the bat up and over and round.
It's not that with that same intensity, is it? There's a bit more relaxed in it, I think, compared to the Smith do it so quickly. I actually haven't seen Labuschagne's new effort yet.
With the stare down the wicket. Curran in, forcing Chandimal to the back foot. He pushes into the offside. Sibley fields. There's no run. Yeah, Labuschagne's gone like extra quirky. I mean, Andy, you've seen a bit of it. It's on another level now, isn't it?
Yeah, it's like he's trying to swat an insect that won't expect it or see the bat coming. Just flip back over the shoulder.
Yeah, but he never quite gets that insect, does he?
No.
It feels to me. Curran in again, and that's driven nicely into the ground, but straight at Johnny Bairstow. He's in this unusual position. He's at a straight, short mid-off, but not a silly mid-off. You may say, surely that's silly mid-off, but he's not. He's about 3/5 of the distance from the batsman to the stumps at the non-striker's end, I would say. About 14 yards away.
And then they've got very short extra cover as well, with deep mid-off in between that gap, plug in that gap.
Here is the snarling Curran, and just strays onto the waist of Chandimal, and he's able just to clip this away behind the square on the onside, which will irritate Curran. Comes a very expressive bowler. He comes in with a sort of furious rage all the time, like a boy who's been forced to go to his room or isn't going to be allowed to watch TV tonight or something for some imagined indiscretion. That it probably wasn't his fault in his mind, and really it was his brother's fault. But he's not allowed to tell tales, and he's holding in this repressed fury, and not answering back.
I don't see it. I just see a scurry in. Scurry's little scurrier in. He's a brilliant. I rate him as a cricketer. He's a brilliant cricketer.
Here he does scurry in, works on again onto the hip, just a little bit too straight, and Matthews is able again to work that down to deep backward square leg for a single. 93 for 3. Matthews 28, Chandimal 15. Crucial partnership this.
I was just about to say that. Used to the word. I think for Sri Lanka, their two best players, their two most experienced players, captain and vice captain. And if you're in the Sri Lankan fan, but you want these to be batting pretty much the whole day, don't you? For they to get a really good total. But England, as they know, they can just break this partnership. Those doubts that they created from the first innings in Sri Lanka's mind will resurface. 100 for 4 and a flat one. England will definitely take it with one of these out. But if they can build a partnership, 200 for 4, suddenly it's a very, very different game.
Well, with Dick Weller in next, and Dick Weller can do marvellous things with the bat, but he can also give you a chance, which would be England's hope. Now, Curran's going over the wicket for the last ball of this over, and Chandimal stands tall and pushes back up the wicket. Bairstow fields that short mid-off position. 93 for 3 from 34 overs. I just need to double check the time, because there's Jonathan Agnew's arrived in his attic. I think it's time for me to leave. Some thoughts from Alistair Cook, and then it will be Jonathan Agnew.
As we were saying, Dick Weller is that type of person who's probably very annoying if there is 200 for 4. The guy who can push on and can really take the game to the opposition. But if you put him under some pressure, that kind of free-spirited way he plays is, you feel as if you give him a chance. So England would like to see him in quicker. Aggers, note that the dressing gown's gone.
No, it's a change. Yeah, a definite change now during the lunch break, or just after lunch break in my case. How's it going there? Are they looking after you?
Very nice. Had a very, very nice breakfast from Henry.
What was it?
I can't tell you that. I can't tell you where we actually stooped to for our breakfast.
No.
But it was, and we saw tough as eating. I've never seen some go quite so quickly.
93 for 3. Anderson's got all 3 wickets, and he bowls, and Matthews flicks him away through the mid-wicket. Bit cross about that. It was a bit of a gift on the leg stump. Matthews is so strong, and he's conceded a boundary, and Anderson runs his hand through his hair. Cross that he's done that. I presume that's the first boundary off his bowling today, Andy.
Yeah, he conceded 6 runs in 9 overs before that. He bowled 3 consecutive overs to Angelo Matthews. Look at the head-to-head between them. He's got Matthews out 5 times for now 104 runs in 270 balls. All England's other bowlers in this match against Matthews won for 171. So, Anderson against Matthews, one of the key contests in this test.
Did he bowl beautifully to Tirumani, just luring him around that off stump? Was that little bit wider?
I mean, it looks innocuous ball, doesn't it? Actually, yes. The actual wicket, but the build-up to that, and
here's Anderson bowling outside the off stump, and there's no stroke from Matthews. That's a frustration. You're right. I mean, look at that and think, well, cool, I could have run up and bowled that, and he wouldn't nick it. It's only because Jimmy Anderson that he's nicked it, but it is because of Jimmy Anderson that he's nicked it, because he's just lured him into that line.
Yeah, and he's nagged at him in that first spell, giving him nothing. Obviously, with his record we've spoken about, I think he averages 5 against Jimmy Anderson. So, that would have been playing on his mind, and Jimmy would have known that. Just give him nothing, keep plugging away, and because he's so subtle with the ball coming in and out, just only his small margins, he drags you into areas you don't want to play. As I said, the ball got him out. You'd thought you could leave, but not with Jimmy.
So outside the off stump, Matthews ignores it. 32 not out. Chandimal on 15. This is the partnership really that England want to break. The 2 old hands, the experienced ones. But there is a bit of batting to come still, obviously, but just separate these 2. Looking at England's spinners again. They've bowled 13 overs, only 1 maiden between them again. I know people say, stop banging on about maidens, Jonathan, but actually it just tells a story. They'll be as frustrated as that by anybody. Here goes Anderson again, bowls wide of the off stump once more. No stroke from the right-handed Matthews.
I mean, we were pretty wrong when we looked at the wicket, weren't we, this morning? I know, we're looking from here, we both assumed it'd be
7,000 miles.
But do you know what I mean? Looking at Joe Root's expressions and everyone else looking at these little patches, and I remember saying, well, it's going to be dry wicket. Then straight away get a text from Russell Arnold saying it's going to be good for batting, and it does look a better wicket, doesn't it? It hasn't spun nowhere near as much in the first day as it did do in that first test. I mean, it will spin later on, but Sri Lanka got such an opportunity here to get a good score.
And goes Anderson again, sliced away as runs here again. Might be a second boundary in this over. It's heading towards third man. Bess in pursuit, can't get there. So that more of a streaky one. That was off a thick outside edge. So just spoiling Anderson's figures. They're now 3 for 14 with a ball to go in this over. But he had Matthews again playing there where he really didn't want to be, I would have thought. But he'd left, what, 3 or 4 building up to that. Little bit fuller. So saying, go on. So he did push at it. Thick edge for 4. Batsman got away with that little battle. 100 up for Sri Lanka. 3 wickets down. Second one, 50's come at a good rate too. Really in Test cricket. In comes Anderson again, bowls wide of the off stump, that same channel. Matthews this time is not to be tempted. He's got his runs from that over. He's got to 36. And it's 101 for 3. Beautiful day in Gaul. But no obvious sign of the cloud build-up that caused problems virtually every day actually. In the first Test match, couldn't really see what was coming. Bad light brought about early finishes and so on, but it looks much more settled there today. Lovely place to play and to watch cricket. It's funny, I was sitting downstairs there and I said, oh, what a shame, that lovely ground, there's no one in it. But actually it's a cricket ground and it's not a cricket stadium, is it? I was trying to, a cricket stadium with the huge stands like the Gabba or somewhere like that, or Melbourne or something. Or the Oval or Lords. I mean, they need people in, but if there is a ground actually around that could actually, well, get away without crowds. I mean, it is somewhere like Gaul with the grass and the fort and the water, and beautiful place to play cricket. Even sadly with no one there. It's obviously much better when there are people there, but there's a lone figure of Percy, I think it's Percy anyway, up on the ramparts, waving his Sri Lankan flag. He goes Bess, bowls short, turned away into the leg side, down to mid-on. Last bit of work there by Anderson, denies them a single. Have you come across Percy?
No, I haven't.
Oh, all right. Percy's a great character. He appeared, the first time I saw Percy was when I was playing out there actually. The mid-80s. He's quite a young, fit chap there. He had a huge Sri Lankan flag, and this fellow suddenly appeared at lunch and tea, both intervals, and paraded round the boundary edge waving his Sri Lankan flag very quickly. His best bowling, and Chandimal is forward. And it turned out he was Percy, and he's there every year, keeps turning up. He's a bit older these days, and slightly more portly. I don't think he's been doing the circuits of the ground quite like he used to do, or had a good Christmas or something. But that'll be him up on the hill. He's got some makeup on, sort of a fuzzy wig, Sri Lankan colours, and he's waving his flag. Best bowls, found away by the right-handed Chandimal for Best to field, but he'll be the only one. I mean, Percy just gets a complete rite of passage in Sri Lankan cricket. I mean, you don't ban Percy from the ground. Completely bonkers. They're harmless. And just one of those characters that you find.
Does he do all the grounds?
Oh yes, yeah. Marches around the outfield. Then goes Bess again. Ooh, that's pushed away into the offside. So you would have noticed he'd been lying flat out in air conditioning after a long stint.
Well, I must have seen him.
No,
I didn't know his name was Percy.
Yeah,
actually, that's
Percy.
probably.
Yeah, that's Percy.
Yeah, good old Percy.
Yeah, there's so many characters everywhere, aren't there? You come across. At the fort, you might get a glimpse of Percy. There he is. You've seen him on the rampart. The only figure. Now, what's Chandimal going to do? Strong bottom hand grip there, right hand holding firmly. Best altering his field. No wicket for 15 so far. He's in his 7th over. Bowling towards the fort. Tosses that one up. Chandimal's forward. Dribbles away. Best able to stop that and follow through. Just every now and then you hear a hoot of a very Sri Lankan sounding horn. The traffic going round the roundabout. Proper roundabout too. Two-way traffic. Best bowls. Turned away towards short mid-wicket. Of course it feeds the fort. It can go best in a tuk-tuk really, to go trundling into the fort. Have a good look round all the little restaurants. Fabulous atmosphere. You've got fond memories of strolling through there, Cookie?
Fond memories of the Gaul. I played a couple of times at Gaul. I was there on an A tour in 2005. I was there, and then obviously played in 2007. No, I do enjoy. I didn't wander around too much down. We stayed not at the fort. We tended to stay a bit. That is the lighthouse was 20 minutes out of town, wasn't it?
Yes, that's the one.
And there's got a lovely beach there, so we used to spend a bit more time down there. Train, obviously, play at the ground, and then go back there.
Yes.
But no, I didn't wander around the fort too much.
Very fond memories of Christmas shopping with Victor in there, and I mean really desperate last-minute shopping. You know, the sort that we sometimes get involved in.
I don't know what you're talking about, Agus.
Well, I suspect you probably do. It was an agonising process, going through all these tiny little sort of trinket shops, you know. And he's buying presents. He's got a wife and 2 daughters, and he just knew, I'm afraid, that it was not going to go down very well. In goes Wood, scampering in. He bowls down the leg side, but it's the process. And Victor, I mean, you can imagine he's the gentlest soul. Victor bartering was just sort of pathetic, really, because it's expected of you, isn't it? Supposed to go in there, have a good barter, everyone has a bit of fun. They make their money. You think you've got a bargain, and off you go. But no, that was 5,000 rupees, sir. Oh, okay, there you go. He's called counted out. Say, Victor, for goodness sake, you're supposed to barter. Oh no, I don't want to. No, I don't do that. He buy an absolute pile of rubbish.
What was he buying?
Oh,
what was
necklaces and things that probably fall apart before you've even got to Heathrow. In goes Wood, bowls, flicked away through mid-wicket, and they come back for 2, will they? The throw coming in, no, they take 1. It's just, it's just the fun of doing it, that's the main thing.
It's when you start bantering over for like 50p, isn't it? When you start like you're at loggerheads and you suddenly work out what you actually...
Well, yes, that's true.
You're quite embarrassed that you're arguing over it.
I remember arriving at Colombo Airport one morning from home, and I was being picked up. You don't drive yourself there, obviously. Picked up to go to Gaul, and I'd heard about this brand new road that goes down. It's a highway, dual carriageway. I thought, thank goodness, because that trundling down the coast road could take 5 hours, can't it, on a bad day? Because traffic is very slow in Sri Lanka. In goes Wood, bowls short, sways out of the way, and I got to the airport, and there was the chap to meet me, the board up. And I said, great. I said, heard all about this new road. He said, oh, no, sir, no, we're not going on the new road, no. I said, well, why not? He said, there's 200 rupees. I hadn't got any Sri Lankan money on me, so I said, hang on a minute. I went to the bank. I said, I need 200 rupees, and the fellow looked at me and said, I think it's 11 pence. So we changed the money. I said, there you go. I said, for 11 pence, we're going down the new road. There was nobody on it, nobody at all. The locals just sort of refused to go on it. In goes Wood and bowls, and that's turned away into the leg side. They take 1 run. It was the best value, 11p.
Were you on that tour? We went to Dambulla, the 1-day tour. I can't remember. Was it it might have been 2007, or it might have been a bit later on.
No, I think I'd done the test tour and let flag that one through.
And then we drove from Colombo to Dambulla, which is a fairly good trek.
Take forever. Yeah.
It did take forever, and then we met this David Lloyd at the hotel. And he said to Broady, God, that new road, obviously we'd gone through all the winding roads, took forever. God, that new road's good. So I'll let you do this ball.
In goes Wood, over the wicket, bowls on off stump, defensively replayed by Matthews.
God, that new road's good. No one on it. The tarmac is immaculate. It took me 45 minutes. Broady's straight away steamed off to see Phil Neal, our team manager. Why have we not gone on this road? And you just see Bumble chuckling away as he walks home.
There's no shortcuts up there, are there?
No.
The train's nice. To make a change from the road, we've done the train. I did only go with Victor actually. The train down from Chandy to Colombo is really picturesque. You just trundle away down through lots of jungle and down from the high country. Goes Wood, bowls, and that's pushed off the back foot out to cover. Sigiriya, of course, that's near Dambulla, isn't it? The rock, huge rock. You climb up and get an amazing view. The jungle. It's a fabulous place, but travelling does take a long time. You just sort of trundle your way through it. 30 miles an hour all the way.
You've got to go in that mindset. It's going to take a long time, isn't it? You cannot think it's a day. Really. It's a day trip.
Yeah. It's because there's no really sort of open country along the side of the roads. The roads are all busy, aren't there? There's shops and houses and dwellings and everything else just along the road all the way, wherever you're going. And so you've got teeming traffic and people crossing roads and dogs and so on.
The odd elephant, isn't it?
Oh, yes. Yes. I was saying the other day, you probably didn't hear, but one of my favourite views ever was actually seeing an elephant going round this roundabout on the back of a flat-back lorry. Then goes Bess, bowls, and that's pushed away by Chandimal to the bowler. Yeah, he was off to a wedding, I think. It's going quite fast round the roundabout, but actually on the back of a lorry. Brilliant. So another one parked up on a driveway, like you'd park a car. In goes Bess, bowls. Yes. Play back to the bowler again by Chandimal. Can Bess string 6 balls together here? Can he?
Well, he bowled a maiden. He bowled a maiden the last one, didn't he? He actually bowled a lovely. He bowled a maiden, and apart from his first ball was a back of length, he managed to get it a little bit fuller. Yeah. And lovely shape. And actually, the last. I say he's actually bowled quite nicely. I think in this game. Actually, I think this seems to settled in quite actually better than he did in that first game.
And he goes again over the wicket, and Chandimal again gets a ball of good length, which he could do nothing with apart from just play back to the bowler once more. The Elephant Orphanage, of course. Did you ever have a chance to do that when you were at Candy?
Yeah, we went there. We went there. He got sat on the back of one and went in the river, and they, obviously their trick of covering with waters.
Yeah,
amazing place.
It's best. Oh, there's that getaway ball again on leg stump. Thanks very much. Clip it away for a single. Sibley fielding in the deep, 104 for 3. Yeah, it's a great place to go, isn't it? Feed them, wash them.
It's a great tour, isn't it?
Yes, because it's one of the best.
It is one of the best tours. We talk about how harsh the conditions are and how it is, but actually the people there and their genuine love for cricket, but in a slightly more relaxed manner than, say, India, not quite so chaotic. It's a brilliant place to play cricket.
Yeah, it is the friendliest of welcomes. 104 for 3. Bess again over the wicket. Nope, he aborts that one. Be a nice sort of gentle warm-up. Well, like England are doing, really, but if you're a cricket traveller, it's a nice gentle warm-up, really, to the subcontinent. 104 for 3. That's Bess on the back foot plays. Matthews on the back foot playing into the onside. No run, bounces out of Bess's hand. 1 ball to go in this over. Wind just gently ruffling the back of Bess's shirt. Spins his catch, then rotates the arm backwards. Quite unusual, that. And then moves again, tosses that right up. It is a low full toss. He's got that away through the offside. 2 fielders chasing after it. Matthews will want that to go for 4. It's not quite going to get there. Flick back by Crawley. And then the rest of the fielding done by Wood, who I don't think really wanted that sprint, to be honest. Actually, it was Lawrence who got there first. But, I'm not sure that Wood really needed that sprint to the boundary, given that he's bowling at the moment. 107 for 3. Just slightly over pitching again. So there was that getaway ball for 1 on the leg stump, and that one, which Lawrence literally just got to, I think, just in time. I've talked to you must know Mr. Lawrence, do you, Alistair?
Yeah, I do. I played with him for
what a character.
No, I don't know Mr. Lawrence. I thought you were talking about Dan, but then I did actually listen to your interview. I found it on the old podcast. And, that was absolutely brilliant, wasn't it?
Is Dan like that?
Not quite like that. No, I think he's a little bit.
He's more like his brother.
Yeah, a bit more. Not quite like his brother either. He's probably a bit more diluted than his dad. But I enjoyed that interview, and I think you summed it up perfectly well. So just that how proud he was. Almost he couldn't believe what he's just witnessed over the last 5 days.
He was bursting, wasn't he?
He was, and brilliant.
Look at the moose there. Can you see behind? We're watching Dan Lawrence, but you can see those antlers. Those are what's on the trophy. That's the prize awaiting the winning captain to grab the trophy by the antlers and raise it aloft. Just watching. Oh, it went for 4 in the end. All that chase for nothing. But it was Lawrence who's just failed to make it, but Mark Wood also had to do the chasing. I assume he's still bowling. It'll got him puffing a little bit. 108 for 3. Matthews to 41 now. Woods already on his way. Bowles to be an off cutter that outside the off stump. He just dragged his wrist over it. Either that or he's totally exhausted from that chase to the boundary.
He feels as if he deserves a wicket, don't you?
Yes.
I mean, he'd have seen Jimmy come back after not playing and get 2 wickets and over with a massive slog on one and the drag down on his other, and he'd be sitting there thinking, I put all that effort in last week, and I actually think bowled pretty well.
Yeah,
he bowled pretty well today, and just without any luck.
What was nice though, I don't know if you saw it, was when Jimmy was sort of celebrating the second wicket, the drag on into the stumps, and goes Wood, bowls, and that softens up Chandimal a bit. It's up into the ribs, fended off, but no luck for Wood. It went to ground in the offside, and Chandimal goes gardening. But Wood was obviously feeling a bit off. He was the first person to get to Jimmy Anderson, and he had the biggest smile on his face. That's real sort of team spirit, isn't it? He's been running in hard, pounding in the first test, bowling very fast, hasn't got a wicket. There's another example there of doing his job. Is just adding some aggression and hostility to this attack, but nothing to show for it at the moment, apart from a lot of effort and a lot of sweat. He's bowling with the fort behind him, 108 for 3. On his way once again, a big leap. He bowls very full. There's a howl of an appeal, I think mainly from Butler, because that was from our perspective, and I suspect Woods going down the leg side.
Just wonder, is it just a hint of reverse swing? Not a massive amount, but I think I saw it in his first over, just a hint. I can't. Here comes the shine side. Yeah, that's just a hint of reverse, which is you'd kind of expect it in these conditions. But something for the next couple of overs, England want to look after this ball, make sure no one's sweaty hands get on it, keep it as dry as you can, because it won't last for that long.
Just tailed in, didn't it?
Well, 152 k an hour.
Yeah, quick. I mean, tailed in fast, like a rocket. 108 for 3. Wood again. Huge jump. Bowls just outside off stump. Chandimal into line. Plays into the onside. It's a big effort, this. And Root got the best view of him in the last match. That was the quickest he's ever seen him bowl.
I mean, this new run-up looks good for him, doesn't it? Yep. I know we've spoken about it a lot, but just he's managed to string a few games together, and it doesn't look like it's such a last-minute effort at the crease for him. And I know we talk about his pace, but I actually think he's a really skillful bowler as well. He has got those skills, as we see in the one-day cricket when he nails his Yorkers.
Becomes again scurrying in, bowls just short of a length this time, hurling the ball into the pitch. Chandimal defends it. Well, if England can get Stone, Wood, Archer all fit and firing and proven, I think for Wood and Stone, they've really got to show between now and Australia that they can stand up to the rigours of Test cricket. But to go to Australia with Broad and Anderson as well, and of course Stokes, but those three you could mix and match around, couldn't you? I mean, there's a cutting edge to the attack.
I mean, that will be. We talk about Australia's bowling as well. They'll be thinking, right, we've got to get those 4 bowlers which play in that last test to be fit. If England can get their 6 or 7 fit.
Wood again bowls the last ball of the over. Again, a little hint of reverse swing into Chandimal, who defends it. He's 17. Matthews 41. 91 miles an hour showing up on the speed gun there. Cookie, more from you, and I'm going to hand over to Simon Mann.
We're just talking about the Australia. If they can get Ollie Stone fit, Jofra fit and fresh, that'll be the name of the game of this rotation. So give England options, and that's why I was a bit surprised that they didn't give Ollie Stone a go in this game. Mark Wood showed, we know how good he is. He showed what he could do in that first game. Get Ollie Stone up and running for the Test matches. I thought it would be a good opportunity. But yeah, it's England. For a number of years, they've got the same kind of bowls. Actually, got lots of different options to go to Australia with.
And goodbye. I think that's it for your lot for now. I think you're free to go. Speak to you later.
Varney, you're in.
Michael Warner's here, but
you've just seen off a night.
I know. Sorry about that. Zoltz wants to say something.
Well, on Mark Wood's speeds in the first test, he averaged 141 kilometres an hour, 87 miles an hour. Looking at the CricViz data of fast bowlers in Sri Lanka, only Mitchell Stark has ever bowled quicker over the course of a game than Wood in the first test, and already in this second test he's averaging 88 miles an hour in his first 5 overs. So wicketless, but impressive effort in terms of speed. And I think the last ball, the 16th over he bowled in a day in the first test, clocked at 92 miles an hour. So good stamina as well.
2 test matches in Mark Wood's career in which he's failed to take a wicket, and the one in Gaul, the first test, was one of those, and the other one was South Africa at Trent Bridge in 2017. But he's got those, the memory of that 9 for 100 match figures against South Africa in Johannesburg, and that 6 for 93 against the West Indies. I mean, quite fresh in his memory and our memories as well. We can see what he's capable of. It's not easy dragging something from this sluggish pitch. And that ball, the full delivery in that previous over that was dug out was 94 miles an hour. So it's there for Mark Wood. It's 108 for 3 with drinks on the field. It's been a bit more like Sri Lanka's second innings than their first innings in the first test today, although Pereira tossed it away early on. Big drive and caught by Root at slip, and then Shado Fernando, the same over, played on to Anderson, and then Anderson in his first over after lunch induced the edge from Tiramane, fraction wide, and moved away, and he nicked it through to Butler. So those are the 3 wickets. Anderson 3 for 14, 10 overs 5 maidens, 3 for 14, Curran 8 overs 0 for 30, Leach 7 overs 0 for 31, Wood 6 overs 0 for 12, and Bess 8 overs 0 for 20. England have bowled 10 maidens today. That was a feature of Sri Lanka's first innings bowling in Gaul. They just could not string any maidens together. It's a attritional sort of day's cricket in hot conditions in Gaul, and at the moment the game is in the balance. Is there a big sign up there saying happy birthday to the umpire? I think it is,
Yes,
isn't it? Happy birthday to
nice.
Rashida Paliguruga, yeah.
Yeah, nicely pronounced as well. Sam, I was waiting for you to take that one on. Big cake. It's a nice cake on the big screen there. Nice touch. Well, this is Sri Lanka's chance, because these two, they've got the kind of record that says that they can get centuries and big ones in Test match cricket. 108 for 3. It is in the balance, this match. This partnership can build and go big. Obviously, the Sri Lankans will be feeling that they can get a very good first innings score, but England know they're only a couple away. Lacknell's coming in at number 9 this week. A great deal of experience to come from the Sri Lankan team. 135 would be a good effort from here.
Yeah. But the other thing as well, we talked in the last game about 250 would be a good first innings score. It feels as if a few more would be a good first innings score here. You think 350, do you? Yeah.
I mean, it might deteriorate quickly,
Yeah.
you're not too sure yet.
Matthews on 41, faces Bess. He turns that away, ball outside the off stump, turns it away towards mid-wicket, and there's no run.
I guess the baking heat. It's a hotter day today. We didn't really have too many of these days in the first test match. The pitch, I'm sure, will get to the stage where it will spin quite a lot like we saw in that first test.
Bess bowls, played away by Matthews with a flick of the wrist towards mid-wicket, and there's no run. Of course, the other thing about that first test is only a relatively few number of England batsmen were out there for a while, so there's a few who either didn't bat in the second innings or failed in the first innings. So that combination, especially lower down the order.
Yeah, and that opening partnership.
Yeah, that's true. Bess in, played away again by Matthews. Ball outside the off stump, turn of the wrist, goes to mid-wicket, and there's no run. Yeah, there'll be a focus on Sibley and Crawley when they get their chance. Both out in the single-figure scores in both innings in the first game. Here is Bess bowling to Matthews. Similar ball to the previous deliveries in the over. Matthews playing away into the onside, Root clapping away at first slip. He likes this from Bess.
It's been a good over so far. He's got to finish it off. 2 balls to come in the over. Bowled at 4 dots.
Matthews waits. Bess goes in bowl. And another ball right on the spot outside the off stump. Matthews turning it quietly back up the pitch. Bess goes across to pick up, and there's no run, and he's on the verge of a maiden here, landing it about 6 inches outside the off stump. each delivery. Not always quite the same length, but roughly there. Matthews looks down at the pitch, looks up to see Best move in to complete the over. It's a fraction short and turned away for a single. Yeah, just riding that into the onside. Matthews able to take the one that keeps him on strike. So Matthews to 42 and Sri Lanka to 109 for 3, and well 40 overs. And Chandimal is there on 17. So 9 overs for 21.
Yeah, I'm just looking at Jimmy Anderson's figures: 10 overs, 3 for 14, 5 maidens. It's just the power of experience in your name. You go back last week, Stuart Broad, ball's not doing anything. There's a little bit of kind of grab when you bowl the cutter. There's no swing, there's no seam. And I just feel that Sri Lanka and the batters of Sri Lanka have been playing the name rather than the ball that's coming at them. Jimmy Anderson to get 3 for, he's an incredible bowler, but it's not done enough for Jimmy to get 3 for on this kind of surface in these conditions.
These are Trent Bridge figures, aren't they?
It's like the power of the mind. You know, you look at Rishabh Pant in that last Test match at the Gabba, the last day in Sydney, and then the last day in Brisbane. All he did is play the ball. So it was an off-spinner bowling to him, not Nathan Lyon. You know, it was a seam bowler bowling that was coming from 22 yard, not Pat Cummins, Joss Hazlewood, Mitchell Stark. And he just played the ball. I just feel with the Sri Lankans in this series, they've played the England senior pair with so much respect. If they could just pretend that Jimmy Anderson's running, he's called Bob Cox, I think they'd have a better chance.
It's Wood going into bowl to Matthews on his pads there, hip height, turned away down towards fine leg for a single.
But you know what I mean? It's like Jimmy's running into bowl and they think, oh, it's Jimmy Anderson, he's got all these tests, he's unbelievable, he's so skillful. Where if they actually forgot his name, just played the ball, and he's doing nothing.
Yeah, and he's bowling about what?
80 miles an hour.
Yeah.
If they were facing that kind of bowler in their domestic first-class structure, they'd probably just hit through the line and hit him out the attack.
Mind you, Kusal Pereira tried that, didn't he? And he nicked it to slip. But I know exactly what you mean.
I mean, you've still got to choose a right-ish ball to hit, not the one that
don't every ball.
Tried. No, but
Wood goes into bowl to Chandimal outside the off stump, big drive, and he beats the field on the offside at cover, and it's going out towards the boundary before he threw everything at that Chandimal. Pace from Wood's hand, pace off the bat as well. Sri Lanka go to 114 for 3.
Yeah, I remember in 05 actually that we used to have these messages to the players that you must face the ball, not the name. And I remember 2 or 3 batters coming in and said, how can you just not? It's Shane Warne. Yeah. You can see his blonde hair.
Ian Bell was talking about that recently, saying when he played in that series, he did play the man, not the ball. McGrath and Warne.
It's so important that you kind of just nullify the external kind of negative thoughts that can come into your mind as a player, and just concentrate on actually it's just a ball coming at you. Forget the hand that it's coming out of.
This is Wood going into bowl to Chandimal, very full, a hint of reverse swing, but it was on the pads of Chandimal. He's clipped it through mid-wicket into that fielder back. It's Sibley, so they come back for 2 with leaking runs of 92 miles an hour, that delivery, but went away for 2.
Yeah, but it swung back in, so there is a little bit of tail, a bit of reverse swing. We didn't see much of this in the first Test match. Someone like Latmal is a very skillful bowler who will be looking at the ball, just offering something to the seamer. He'll be liking the look of this.
I remember there's a series that England played in the UAE where Anderson when Broad were bowling, and I don't know if you can remember that series. I think you were there, Michael. Yeah, you were. Wood bowls. Oh, he hits him. He hits Chandimal. And the ball goes to slip, and Wood appeals. I think it looks like it's come off the body rather than the glove or the bat handle.
Joe Root's thinking about appealing this, but it's come straight off the helmet. I'm
helmet,
sure
is
it's
it?
like a glance straight. A good catch by Joe Root at first slip.
Well, that's the benefit of that extra pace from Wood. Unsettled Chandimal there. Wood comes forward and says, "You okay?" to Chandimal. Let's see what. Yes, it's come off the grill. Yeah, deflected off the grill and playing straight to slip.
It's a really good spell, this by Mark Wood, because he's bowling with real speed and he's getting that real late swing with the full delivery. Just watch this one, you can just see that it just angles in and just keeps following Chandimal, and at the last minute he has to turn his head away. And he just glances off the grill.
He does well actually not to take the full force of it. It was a glance, and the physio's out there just giving him the concussion test. So I think he's going to be okay. It was a glance off the grill rather than sort of thud into the helmet. So he's on his feet.
Yeah, I don't think he's had to change because it's not hit his head.
Yeah.
You know, the actual helmet's hit his grill. He's keeping the same helmet. I'm just seeing if I don't think he's changed his grill. I think he's got a helmet that I don't know if he can change the grill in this modern helmet. I think it's all kind of like a one-piece helmet grill.
So it's all or nothing, basically.
I think so. Yeah. I mean, in my time, particularly remember back in the 90s where you used to have to put your grill on and you could have different kind of levels to how much visual you would see out of it. You had like perspex down the side and then a big grill, big heavy grill. First time you put a helmet on as a young player, I mean now they have to wear them from a young age, but I always remember that was a big moment. I think it was about 14 or 15 that I suddenly started having to wear a helmet.
It feels really uncomfortable,
weird,
doesn't it, to start with, your balance and everything. The tip that I was given, and I think it's quite a good one actually to get used to it, is just wear it around the house. Do sort of, do your household chores.
I bet you did that as well, didn't you?
Watch TV with your helmet on.
I bet you do that now. I can just imagine you sitting at home watching the telly with your helmet on.
It's a way of getting used to it. Do the vacuuming with your helmet on. Make the breakfast with your helmet on. Here's Wood bowling. And Chandimal plays defensively into the offside.
We were in
no run.
It snowed our way the other day, so my lad wanted to play cricket, so we took a car out the garage and started playing in the garage. Shut the garage door and doing a few sweeps, and he was playing them nice. And anyway, then swept one, smacked it against the wall, came out, smacked him in the face.
Tennis ball though, was it?
Yeah, it was, but it was only like
if
a yard.
Hit it hard, hit it hard into the wall, it comes straight back. Was he wearing a helmet?
No, yesterday we went back, he put the helmet on the second day.
Yeah. Protect the noggin.
The noggin, love it.
16 for 3. There's something going on. Here's a delay. Umpire Damascene eventually raises his thumb. There must be someone moving in front of the sight screen, or the problem with the sight screen. Chandimal not happy. He has just been unsettled by a short ball from Wood. Another delay. Not quite sure why. All 3 wickets to Anderson. Tirumani 43, Pereira 6, Fernando naught. Fernando back in the side. Matthews and Chandimal looking to rebuild here from 76 for 3. It's 116 for 3. Chandimal's happy now. Wood roaring into bowl to Chandimal. Chandimal's right back in his crease there, playing defensively into the onside, keeping Wood out. That was 89 miles an hour. And Wood is through 7 overs, 0 for 19. It's 116 for 3. You mentioned playing the bowler, but I remember that series. I was just going on to that before Wood struck Chandimal there. That series in the UAE that England played, when they basically just blocked Broad and Anderson.
Yeah.
You remember that? And when the spinners came on, they launched them. I think there's some amazing stats about that series.
Misbah, wasn't it?
Misbah, yeah. I mean, he would just go all-out assault as soon as the spinners came on. It's almost as if he didn't rate them or needed to knock them off their line and length.
Brutality, wasn't it?
Yeah. If something like spinners went at 5 and over and the seamers went at 2 and over, that might be exaggerating a touch, but it was something like that. And the game was quiet when things, and that's not counterintuitive. You think in the UAE that spinners would be the major threat, but it was the seamers who kept it so tidy. Here's best bowling, and the first ball is clipped by Matthews into the onside. Good diving save at mid-wicket, prevents a run.
Yeah, I would go the other way and try and. It's one of England's obviously strongest links. I'd try and dismantle that. You've got to try and hit the senior bowler.
Best to Matthews. Matthews is back into his crease, clipping that into the onside towards mid-wicket.
It's not in a reckless fashion, but you've got to show that you're actually willing, if they bowl a bad ball, to hit it and try and put them under a bit of pressure, because the more you can put the senior bowler under pressure, the more it will damage the team.
Matthews waits. Best walks into bowl, tosses this up outside the off stump. It's driven into the offside towards wide mid-off. There's a fumble there from Curran. Matthews ran with the stroke. I think he would have got single easily even if Curran had collected that cleanly. Matthews to 44 and Sri Lanka to 117 for 3 with around about 45 minutes to go until tea on this first day.
Would you make a Sam Curran's glasses, Sam? Would you wear a pair like that?
Not so sure.
Bright yellow,
fluorescent colour.
Like wraparound, aren't they? They've got a red kind of lens to them as well.
Best bowls short. played away into the onside, hit short leg there and deflected towards Bairstow. They were off for a single and they realised it wasn't there.
I don't think I've ever seen you in a pair of shades. Have you got any?
Yeah, not that colour though.
I bet they're real bog standard yours, aren't they?
a bit more conservative than those. Those are a bit like they wear at the cinema though if you're watching one of those 3D films. 117 for 3. Chandimal gets the ball outside the off stump, pushed through by Best. Chandimal offers the pad and lets it go through. Collected by Butt though. He's not had a great deal to do today. Just took that one catch. The ball has not beaten the bat with the spinners bowling as we saw in the first Test match. The ball ripping and bouncing. Best bowls outside the off stump, full driven, but it's straight at Lawrence at cover, and there's no run. Results.
But that series you're talking about in the UAE in 2015-16 Winter England spinners, 20 wickets, average 59, an economy rate of 4.06 per over. Their seamers won at only 2.27 per over, took 31 wickets, average 24. Compare that with England's previous tour there. The spinners averaged 23, won at 2.4 and over, and the pacers 2.3 and over, average 26. So Broad and Anderson in particular have been very effective in the UAE. With Swan and Panesar in 2011, England did pretty well, but struggled last time in late 2015.
Yeah. So it's 4 and over and 2.2 and over. Comparison between the spinners and the pace bowlers.
They've got something on Anderson taking the top 3 batsmen out in this. It's the 9th time he's got numbers 1 to 3 out in an innings in his career, and the next most by an England bowler is 5 by Andy Caddick, and then a number of bowlers including Stuart Broad at 4. So the 9th time Anderson's got the top 3 out.
I'll just do the first ball this Wood over. He goes in now and bowls to Matthew. Short ball swatted away down towards the deep back of square leg boundary. There is no one out. Yes, there is. Appearing enter stage right at the last moment. Sibley away to his right hand side. Good diving save.
Just saw him flying last minute into the picture.
Yeah.
Just seen Alex Hales hit the most amazing 6 over extra cover in the Big Bash, and I think he's just smacked a 4 through cover point. He's facing Stephen O'Keefe for the Thunder against the Sixers. He's at 11 off 7. The 6 over extra cover, it went miles.
Yeah, well, he's having quite a good time of it. The Scorchers won that first match. That's Roy and Livingston's team. I'll do this ball as well. Wood goes in and bowls to Matthews. Matthews gets a short ball and he's gloved that, and it's flown away down towards the fine leg boundary. It's nearly gone for 6. Wood feels hard done by, because that could have, well, it could have just gone through to Butler. It could have gone down towards fine leg, and that's a 50 for Angelo Matthews. It's another half century, and he's helping Sri Lanka rebuild, but some good fortune there. Not go cleanly off the bat. 123 for 3. It's all yours, Dan.
Thank you, Simon. A little bit of fortune there. It was right off the glove, and it went ballooning in the air. Very fine. Couldn't get it anywhere near to hand. 1 bounce for brings up his half century. Andy Zoltzman, you got the details of that. 50.
It's his 47th score of 50 or more in Test cricket. 10 centuries amongst those. His 9th 50-plus score against England in just 11 tests. Came off his 89th ball with his 7-4.
Thank you. 123 for 3. Wood in, and Matthews pulls again, and goes straight this time to Sibley on the deep square leg boundary. Bowls the ball in. 124 for 3.
I get the sense this might be Mark Wood's last over. It's like the last throw of the dice. Just go and bowl as fast as you can and pepper them. There's 3 fielders on the boundary for the miscued pull shot. There's a short leg. There's catcher at short mid wicket. He's bowled so well. He deserves a wicket. He's given it his all, is Mark Wood. And Angelo Matthews just got a picture of him square of the wicket. He's right back on his stumps. So he's kind of positioning himself for it.
Chandimal faces up now. That's full. Nearly gets through Chandimal. Wood can't believe that he hasn't actually. There's a little bit of bat on that just saved Chandimal at the last minute. It was full. It was straight. It would have clattered into the stumps. Just have a little look at this replay. Inside edge onto knee. It was probably tailing, actually, sort of flicking leg stump. But Wood, he's putting everything into this spell at the moment, and he hasn't got any reward. 124 for 3. That last delivery was 90 miles an hour and full and straight. 2 balls left in the over. What can he do with these 2? He comes bustling in. And bouncer. Chandimal hopping out the way. He's obviously bowling pretty quickly here. Another 90 mile per hour ball, Michael, because Chandimal's been out there for a long time. Visibility is glorious. Lovely hot sunny day, and he's 2 feet off the ground as he went into the ducking position.
Yeah, there's 2 feet off the ground when Butler's taking it as well. It kind of hits Josh Butler. And it surprises him because of the venom. Last ball of the over.
He's trudging back to his mark, isn't he? He's put absolutely everything into this, as Mark would. And I suspect that you're right. I think this is going to be his last ball, his last chance. What's it going to be? Full and straight, another bouncer. He's been consistently up there around 90 miles an hour throughout this spell. Not the easiest thing to do, and many of the balls you're bowling are very short. Forward short leg, short mid-wicket, mid-on, slip. Wood in full, just dug out by Chandimal, and there's an appeal from Wood, and they might actually go upstairs and have a little look at this. It was taken by Crawley at short leg. I think umpire Dharmasen has just got to check. There's no real excitement in the England camp. Wood raised his arm in a polite inquiry. It came off a thick inside edge from Chandimal, went very quickly to Crawley. Dharmasen is going upstairs. The soft signal is not out. The third umpire, Lyndon Hannibal, will be taking a look at this. Lyndon Hannibal, the elephant that's not in the room. Or is he in the room? I don't know. I haven't decided quite how that pun's going to work out. Full. Let's take a look at this. No, straight into the... Well, not straight into the ground, but into the ground. It bounces up.
Dan, I don't know if you've got the big bash on down there as well, but Alex Hales just hit another massive 6, this time off Jackson Bird over extra cover. He's 25 off, I think about 11 or 13 delivered, not out yet, straight off the ground. Good stop by Crawley at short leg, but what a shot that is from Alex Hales. Hales, remind me, maybe Andy can look it up, is he the 2nd or 3rd leading run scorer, I think, this year's big bash? I think Ben McDermott of the Hurricanes, I think he's gone ahead of him. Josh Phillippe's had a few, I think, as best starts a new over. It's flatter, turned into the onside by Matthews for an easy single. It's curious today, isn't it, Michael? Because essentially we're at Gaul, we're thinking this is where the spinners are going to come into their own, but the pitch has not been prepared to be a spinner's paradise on day one. So really it's been England seamers that have made things happen at one end, and then the spinners have just been trying to keep it tight on a pitch that's not really giving them much. 125 for 3. Bess in to the right-handed Chandimal, who comes forward in defence, pushes back to the bowler. There's no run. Now this reminds me very much of a Sri Lankan wicket that I would have played on, whereas for the first 2 or 3 days they're just beauties. But because of the baking heat, obviously the dry nature, it will get to the stage like we saw in the first test. It might just take a little bit of time to do so.
Bess in, Chandimal uses his feet and hits it firmly high in the air, over long off for 6. A glorious shot. Advanced to the pitch of the ball. There's nobody out there on the boundary, and the ball has sailed over the rope for 6. The 50 partnership comes up. Sri Lanka 131 for 3.
Yeah, no, it looks the kind of wicket, Dan, that I think as a player it's that good and it's playing that truly that you can decide upon when you really want a boundary. You know, Chandimal's just made that look so easy, but he knew that he just had to put a little bit of pressure on Don Best and just ask him another question or so. But it's the kind of wicket that I think if a player wanted to go...
Here's Bess again, gentle turn back into Chandimal, who stays on the back foot and pushes the ball firmly but straight to mid-off.
Yeah, particularly against the spinners. If a player really wanted to try and take a spinner down, it's probably the kind of pitch now that you could do. It's just the amount of risk that you need to take in Test match cricket.
Here's Bess again into Chandimal on 29. He drives a full toss to mid-off. Throw comes in, misses. A dive from Chandimal. I think he would have been home anyway. Curran relatively deep at mid-off, but the ball was struck firmly to him. It was taken on the full by Chandimal on the front foot, driven straight at Curran, and yes, the dive saw him well home, even had there been a direct hit. And we've seen there's quite a lot of gall dirt on quite a lot of kits today. I saw that Jack Leach has both his buttocks are covered in soil. Next delivery's clipped away straight to mid-wicket. There's no run. I can't remember how that
His
one
buttocks are soiled.
Well, not in that sense, but in the sense that the back of his trousers.
It does
where
happen, Dan. It happens.
Well, yes.
Remember Ben Stokes? I can't remember when the game was. You remember when Ben was
Yes.
bowling? And I think it may have been was it India or where was that?
Actually, I think it happened in England.
So have you got that in your stats?
I think
I do not have that in my stats, Michael.
we're at the game.
Come on, you
There
want to
was
be
this-
a modern statistician, you must have these kind of things.
It was this summer, I'm being told. I seem to remember being at the game.
Oh, was it in the bubble last year?
I think it was, yes.
I think you're right, yes.
132 for 3 at the end of the 44th over. Matthews 52, Chandimal 30. These two veterans are restoring the innings after the loss of 2 early wickets and then the loss of Thirumani straight after lunch to a brilliant bit of bowling from Jimmy Anderson, who's been the standout bowler for England today, and the others have toiled manfully. Well, Mark Wood is going to toil on further. He's going to be given another over.
No, because he looked so threatened in the last one. That top edge went one bounce 4 off Matthews. He got one fizzing past Chandimal's nose end. I think it was the Pakistan test at Old Trafford.
Ah, yeah.
I think you're right. It's yeah. I don't know why he didn't just go off and get them changed quite quickly.
Was that in the second innings when Pakistan had a first innings lead and then imploded?
I just remember the cameras panning on into the slip cordon, and they're all in a
Well, they were
bit of
slightly wider,
hysterics.
weren't they?
Yes.
Wood is in with slip in full toss, aiming for the Yorker, and it squirts away from Chandimal's inside edge into the onside, but straight to mid wicket. There's no run. Yeah, there was a noticeable distancing policy.
Well, it's advisable, isn't it?
It is very advisable, yeah, for all sorts of reasons. Yeah.
You've seen it so many times in his follow through. So much effort goes into his bowling, and every now and again he's just that right leg follows and he just ends up on the floor.
There have been a few bowlers that do that. Stephen Finn springs to mind, of course. Here is Wood again. Into Chandimal. Fall again. Clipped away nicely through mid-wicket. That's going to run away towards the boundary. It will be cut off, which I think will please Wood. Not so much for saving the boundary, but he wants to be bowling at Chandimal. So they've picked up 2 more. So that went out to deep mid-wicket. 134 for 3. Because I think he just feels that he might have him here. He's gone full with the first couple of balls, so he's not pushed him back yet. I'm expecting the short one very shortly.
It's just how much this spell's going to take out of Mark Wood.
Here he is again. That is short. Ducking is Chandimal through to the keeper. And there's no run to quite get that right. A little bit easy to evade. This will surely be his last over. When did Leach last bowl, Andy?
The 23rd over. So we've had
21 overs.
Second over since he last bowled.
With 2 right-handers
Yeah,
in.
you're right, Dan.
Root did this, didn't he, in the second innings of Sri Lanka in the last game, when he didn't bowl him on the 4th day for quite some time after lunch, about an hour and a half or so. Here's Wood in. Again, short, and that's got him on the glove. Was in the air for a while, but short legs quite deep, about 5 or 6 yards back, maybe more. And that has wrapped Chandimal on the bottom hand, I think. Was in the air briefly. That short leg is quite deep, isn't he, Michael?
Yes, he's almost there for the balloon off the kind of glove, which is an easy one for him to get forward and run into to take the catch, or just the glance, the kind of leg glance into the hands of short leg.
Well, he got the sort of the bottom of the handle of the bat and a bit of finger. Here is Wood again. That's short again and punched off the back foot square of the wicket. He's running towards the boundary. It won't get it all the way there, Dominic Sibley chases after it, and
Got a funny running technique, hasn't he?
yes. Do you know what? He sort of reminds me of an uncle at a barbecue.
Carry On movie.
Yeah, sort of. It's a very unusual squat sort of run. 136 for 3. We've got some idiosyncratic runners in the England team. I mean, Alistair Cook used to run a little bit like Woody from Toy Story, didn't he, when he ran between the wickets?
Hey, how did he like his breakfast, Dan? By the way, I've not asked you that. Did he enjoy his?
He thoroughly approved, I think. Well, he wolfed it down in about 3.5 minutes, not quite as quickly as Tuffers did, into the pads and tucked away by Chandimal down to deep backward square leg, just for the single. 137 for 3. Yes, he end of the over. 45 gone. Matthews 52, Chandimal 35. He loved his breakfast. He's loved the wildlife that you see here at the Oval.
Yeah, the
foxes and all sorts. We're going to let you go because I think Tuffers has come to join.
Good morning, Phil.
And we're going to hand over to Andy Zaltzman in his shed.
On England's spinners, Dom Best to right-handers averages 39 in his Test career so far, 24 to left-handers. Jack Leach averages 24 to right-handers and 51 to left-handers. So two right-handers at the crease. I think Leach would be the better option, although Best probably started this game better.
I'm surprised we haven't seen Leach. I don't know whether it's an after-lunch thing. It seems to have repeated itself from day 4 of the last match. We've got 2 right-handers in, established, and Woods walking off after his spell with, I think, probably a towel dipped in cold water draped round his neck, and he's trudging up the steps. Chandimal, meanwhile, is having spray applied to his bottom hand.
You get those very sort of pink arms, don't you, in Sri Lanka when you wear the short sleeve. It's not necessarily pink from sunburn, but it's that sort of like inner heat.
Inner heat
showing itself. You become very pink and sort of shiny.
Very hot, isn't it?
Yes, it is. It does get extremely hot. It's good little spell by Wood, though. Worked him over a bit there, didn't he? Got a couple of wraps on the glove. There's obviously a plan against these two to get it in and rub that around that chest height.
He was unlucky, but he pinned Chandimal on the helmet. He had him hopping about, trying to evade the short ball. Then he got wrapped on the gloves a couple of times. And he nearly had Matthews pulling. Got a glove on that. It was a terrific spell of bowling, but a luckless one.
Well, Joe Root said last Test match it was one of the fastest he'd seen Mark Wood bowl.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, not necessarily off the pitch, movement, but actually just for speed. So good effort, good effort.
Nearly every ball's been around the 90 mark. I mean, I can't think of one that was sort of 85. It's sort of 88 to 92, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a good effort.
I do wish, I say this, as Best comes around the wicket, couples worked into the onside.
Could be anything, this.
I do wish I could be at that beach next to the Gaul Stadium, because the producers of the telecast tantalisingly pan out to it roughly every 15 minutes.
Yeah, they're only small little beaches.
Bess in, and that's tossed up and flicked away, but straight to short square leg. There's no run as Lawrence does the fielding.
You'd have to get there early with your towel, wouldn't you? Because they're not the biggest, but they are beautifully formed. Just little coves, aren't they, all around that sort of peninsula.
And what sort of fish do you get? Do you get like rays and that sort of thing? I mean, what's the wildlife like?
Well, I should imagine there are rays there. Rays are pretty everywhere, aren't they? They're very popular fish, ray.
Very popular. I saw a few in Adelaide with Henry once. Kept me out of the water.
Yeah.
Bears in, attacking leg stump really, and Matthews clips it away again to Lawrence at short square leg. It seems quite a negative line. This he's trying to turn the ball back in off the.
If you're going to bowl round the wicket, you want to be a little bit more off stump.
Yeah,
he's sort of like Midland leg stump round the wicket.
Not seen the sweep yet. Just playing with a straight bat is Matthews. He finds the gap this time through mid wicket. Out to Sibley.
There is that man at leg slip, perhaps, which could just have a little fall over clip or something. But it just seems a containing role, perhaps, for Bess.
139 for 3. Matthews to 53 from 96.
And you're right. It keeps flashing to Jack Leach as well. From going.
It's time he was on, isn't it?
Perhaps it might be time Jack Leach is on. 2 right-handers, of course.
How long is there till lunchtime? About half an hour, about 33.
Had lunch.
No,
Tea.
I mean, sorry. I know. It's 8:47 in the morning. Bess in over the wicket this time to Chandimal, who defends on the front foot. There's no run.
Yep.
There's 23 minutes to go till tea. So Leach hasn't bowled at all in this session. Is that right, Andy? He hasn't bowled at all in this session. Bess is in, right arm over the wicket. Slip is in, and forward in defence comes Chandimal. Better length, better line, but Chandimal gets the full face of the bat on it, plays it to short extra cover. End of the over. A sparse one from Bess, just the one run from it, but not threatening at the moment, which is no real reflection necessarily on the way Bess is bowling, although the angle of attack felt less like an attack than a defence. 139 for 3.
Yeah, I mean, you've just got to do a bit of a job as a spin bowler in the first innings here. You say very hot, pretty flat for the spin bowler. You've just got to be looking to go at 1, 2 and over. And if you pick up a couple of wickets, you've had a bit of a result. Let the seamers have a bit of a breather, rotate it. But I'm a bit surprised Jack Leach hasn't had a go for a whole session. We might see him just a bit coming on now.
Andy, what was his spell in that second innings when he did come on?
Got bopped for a 6, didn't he? I saw by Matthews.
He picked up
Leach.
Yes, he picked up 4 for, didn't he, in that spell either side of T?
4 for 37 in 12 overs and 5 balls from
Very shrewd.
4 for 37 in 12 overs and 5 balls, and here is Jack Leach.
That's the inner captain of you coming out there, you see.
Well, I think it was more like,
Where is he?
So he is going to bowl. I see Aggers is in situ, and it might be time for me to hand over to him. I'll do this ball and then I'll bring Aggers in. Leach is in and draws Matthews forward. There is a slip in place. 139 for 3. Aggers, do you want to take us up till tea?
Absolutely, and we're going to be hearing from Dan Lawrence during the tea break as well. So that's about 20 minutes away. 139 for 3, Sri Lanka's session, isn't it? I mean, lost the 1 wicket. They've scored 63 runs, and this is the 21st over of the session. And Leach goes in round the wicket and bowls to the right-handed Matthews. It's played into that offside, picked up by the bowler. Solid, tall, muscular figure, Matthews. 53 not out. He played really well in the second innings of that first test match. And then goes Leach round the wicket, bowls to him, drifting quite straight, and Leach desperately scrambles across the ground there to deny Matthews a run as he drove towards mid-off.
You wouldn't mind being 140 odd for 3 if you're England, though, would you? I mean,
no.
Come out after tea and a couple of wickets away from being in a good position.
Yes,
they haven't got away from you.
Leach again bowls straight. Matthews forward, plays back to the bowler. That's right. You had as Jeffrey always says, add a couple of wickets to it, and it looks rather very different, doesn't it? I mean, Sri Lanka they were at least 350, stroke 400 on this, don't they? I mean, it's playing so well to really put England under pressure to win the game. It's shorter from Leach, and it's punched by Matthews, but most of the pace taken off it by Leach. And also have to start with a maiden here.
Yeah. And also a bit of time as well. Sri Lanka will be thinking, come on, let's come back tomorrow.
Yep.
And try and get a session and a half as well. Really take the legs out of England.
Last ball of the over, it's short, and he's punched into the offside, but hits cover, and so Leach does start with a maiden over. 139 for 3. Chandimal's 36. Matthews has 53. If you're just tuning our way, good to have you with us. I know some have been here from the very start.
Yeah, well done.
Well done, all of you. But Anderson's taken the 3 wickets to fall. He took 2 in 1 over, in fact. Pereira was out for 6. Horrible shot again. His hat-trick of dismissals in this series is not pretty viewing, is it? They keep putting it together on the telly and showing us. Not nice.
No, not a great reel.
Today's wasn't great either, but well caught by Root with his hands above his head at slip. He was out for 6 in the same over. Oshado Fernando. It's no Sri Lankan side with at least 2 Fernandos in it, so it's good to have a recall for number 2. Then goes Bess, bowls on the leg stump, turned away easily by Chandimal for a single out to square leg.
Yeah,
he got a duck.
Yeah, you get your chance, don't you? A
little bit of bounce, but he dragged it into his stumps.
He's on a
pair. So That was 7 for 2, 76 for 3, and Anderson bowled beautiful at Tiramane, just teased him outside the off stump time and time again. He just lured him out of his safety area, really nicked it behind. Best round the wicket, bowls against short and gives that free hit away into the leg side, out to deep mid wicket.
Didn't Graham Gooch back him in his first Test match?
He did.
Yeah. Has there been a few? There must have been a few.
Side Anwar.
Australia, isn't it? Gooch's. Didn't someone make some sort of joke about his first Test score being in his surname?
I like it.
Then goes best bowls, and that's another single coming down the pitch and worked away down to long on. I think, to be fair, it was a bit of a pig of a pitch. I think it rained. It was an uncovered pitch, and I don't think. Was it Lilian Tomo? I don't think it was the most attractive attack to face under those circumstances. I think it was Lily got him out. You can check Andy, can't you? But I think his second innings was on a bit of a sticky dog, as they called it in those days. His best bowling worked into the leg side again, beating mid wicket. Milking those singles. It's frustrating. Frustrating for Best too, but just trying to get some pressure.
Yeah, that's right. It's frustrating for the fielding captain, obviously, and what have you, but it's also frustrating for the bowler, because you just don't feel that you're forever in that rhythm, if you know what I mean. You're just going bomb, there's a one,
just dinking it away. With the spin, with the flow, as it were. Now it's down the pitch and defends that delivery, which Best fields in the onside and gets a round of applause there from those round the back, Buckler and Root and so on.
Yeah, that's why I've never been a fan of this sort of a man on the cut boundary to the spin bowler early on, and I think it used to infuriate me, just going for ones and ones and twos, and you go for 3 and over, and you think you bowl a decent over.
Yes, again, another single, flicked away down the ground to long on. Yes, because the man on the boundary creates a gap.
Yeah,
basically the point, isn't it, for the single? So if you have the man back, it means that you do have these wide open spaces in which the singles can be taken. Not much traffic around the old roundabout today, Tuffers. Looking at that shot we've got there from there's a real drone enthusiast working for the local television company, and he must have some good batteries, or a lot of them, because it's up there a lot. He's got two things he loves. One is fishing boats, a lot of those, and the other is the roundabout. But it's a lovely sight, but pretty quiet. The odd tuk-tuk and motorbike and big old red bus.
First Test was very quiet.
Yeah, but normally it's teeming round there, and lots of traffic going into the fort. It looks very verdant, very green, as Sri Lanka of course does, very jungly. As is Chandimal being brought forward, pushed away. Of course, Bridge over the River Kwai was filmed in Sri Lanka, wasn't it? All sort of jungly stuff. Yeah, I'm not quite sure absolutely whereabouts, but
was that with, what was his name? Alec Guinness.
Alec Guinness has spent most of his time in the hole, didn't he, poor chap? 144 for 3. This is tossed up, and Chandimal goes for a quick single here. They'll get there too as Matthews runs his bat into the far end. Yeah, great film. Come on, Andy. Where was Bridge over the Kwai filmed?
Oh, that's not in my stats database, Agus. But I've got
go on, look it up.
Gooch's Test debut for you.
Go on.
Gooch was caught Marsh bowled Walker for naught in the first innings, and dismissed by Jeff Thompson in the second.
Tomo got him, did he? I think it was wet. It's floated up. Matthews forward again, looking for the gap down to long off. Can't get there. Those well fielded at cover.
Oh, what an uncovered pitch!
Yeah.
What, against Lilian Thompson?
Yeah.
Oh.
Anyway, Greg, well, good luck. There's your England cap.
Yes, I think
haven't got a helmet. Haven't got a helmet for you or anything else. But pop off and go face Tomo on that wet one.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was.
When did covered?
Mike Dines would have been captain, but
when did they come in?
Dines was captain.
He was captain.
When did they
bat first? Or there was. I've had Gucci on this subject before. There was something that wasn't quite right about it. Whether Dines put them in or something, and I think the weather was always forecast to be a bit dodgy.
Yeah, England won the toss.
This is turned away into the leg side, no run.
So the first Ashes Test of 1975 in England. Previous winter had been hammered in Australia. Chose to bowl.
Yes.
Australia 359 and England 101 all out and 173.
That was it. I think that was the big talking point. He stuck them in when there was a very bad forecast. goes Leach bowls. That's pushed away into the offside again. There's no run. So poor old Gooch's debut was absolute spitter against the Aussies. Yeah.
When did that all stop?
Well, I played on uncovered pitches when I was, I think, certainly 1978 we played on uncovered pitch. My first class match was a rain-affected uncovered pitch, actually against Lancashire. Colin Croft playing. It wasn't very nice. Bridge over the River Kwai, I'm being told.
Yeah. Candy.
Kitugale. So that's between Colombo and Candy. It's on that lovely train journey we were talking about.
Right.
The Kalanali River, there you are. It's on that lovely train trip that you can take. I don't think you can actually go over the bridge of the River Kwai, but but that's where it was anyway. Yeah. So all that jungly stuff that you see in that film is absolutely what it's like, therefore, between Colombo and Candy. It's beautiful and green. About as green as that pitch was at Edgbaston. I should think Royal Gucci bagged his pair. 145 for 3. Best round the wicket. Bowls in leg side, brushed away, but this time manages to hit the man at square leg. He's going round the wicket here. So a bit of a change of angle.
Yeah, don't mind that. Get the batsman thinking.
Leg slip and an orthodox slip.
Change of fields as well.
Bess goes in, bowls short, and away to mid-wicket, Crawley Fields.
Come on, Bess!
Joss Butler, you can hear there, shouting, "Come on, Bess." 145 for 3. Sri Lanka's session. Can England strike in these last 10 minutes before tea? Bess moves in, bowls Matthews forward.
Better line.
Like that. I hear you purring from here.
Yes, well, just threaten the pad, threaten the outside. Anything could happen there. I mean, well played by Matthews, but if that just turns back and hits him on the pad, that's out LBW. Yeah. Instead of that sort of pitching outside leg stump, just getting him to hit it into the leg side.
Bess again round the wicket, bowls and down the pitch, flicked away out to mid-wicket once more. I must say, Tubbs, I don't know what it's like down there. It was a beautiful early morning here in the Vale.
Yeah, no, beautiful here.
Sun
as well.
coming up, but not a cloud in the sky. It's a bit frosty. If you're out and about, go for a bit of exercise or whatever you may be doing. If you're driving, be careful.
Did you see it? Did you hear about our fox?
No.
We had a fox walking across the oval. Yeah,
fantastic. Bess tossed up, flicked away out to mid-wicket. Was he a sort of pottering fox, or was he a busy fox?
No, he was just pottering. He looked like he'd been on a big night out, and he was sort of doing the walk of shame home. Yeah, he was a little bit, yeah, it was
unsteady.
just as the sun was shining. It looked like it was an hour or two late.
Bess again, low full toss and hammered away into the leg side. Well, can the fielder get there? He does. It's Anderson down at long on, but not a great ball. That 146 for 3. Chandimal 39. Matthews has 57. I remember seeing photographs of a fox at Lord's too.
Yeah. So I mean, you can't get any more in a city really than the Oval. I wonder where his sort of den is or whatever it is. I mean, there's not too many sort of wooded areas.
I don't know if he. I don't think he's bothered. I think the groundsman's shed maybe. He tucks up in there.
Yeah, I don't know, but he looked a bit worse for wear, the lad.
What if it's a regular morning outing? You have to watch.
Well, they usually have a little run, don't they? We've got one round our way, sort of like 10:30. He always comes and puts our outside light on.
Yes.
It's his normal run.
We'll put a camera out there, film him, see what he gets up to. 146 for 3. Leach is continuing. He's bowling to Matthews. Time ticking away towards tea. Back goes Matthews. Steers that away through the offside. And they're going to take 2, are they? The fielder gets out Sibley. They decide not to in the end. Sandra Creamer, or is it Kramer in Woking? One of the two. You know who you are. Lovely to hear from you. You made our summer last year. Now you're here to look forward to every morning as an early waking, shielding 76-year-old grandma. It's wonderful to have you all to look forward to in the morning, and not all the doom and gloom that we're so heartily sick of is pushed away out towards long off. Single for Chandimal, he goes to 40, and it's hard to believe that you're all over the place and not in Sri Lanka. The Oval, somewhere called Media City. Well, that's where the Strictly Come Dancing mob are, Sandra. A garden shed. That's Andy Zoltzman. He's waving at me on his screen. He's in there. There's got all sorts of stuff going on in that shed. It's just turned away into the leg side. And take one. What have you got dahlias in there? Have you whipped out your dahlias, and you do overwinter them in there, Andy? Or No?
There are no plants in here, Agus.
Oh.
It's not my skill set.
It's not the potting shed.
Oh, it's not a potting shed. I assumed it was a
No,
potting
it's
shed.
an office shed, really.
Oh, I see.
Oh, very smart.
I thought there'd be hoes and lawn mowers and all sorts of things in there.
Hose. Haven't seen a hoe for ages.
You can't beat a good hoeing. Very rewarding, that is. Very good. Get amongst your shrubs. 149 for 3. Good old Sandra. We're in someone's bedroom, she says. Yeah, I think Eleanor's in her bedroom. There's Leach, and that is driven down to long off.
Well, you're in your attic.
I'm in the attic. I'm slightly on guard. We've had the window cleaner, and the dogs hate him, so there's been a lot of barking. But fortunately, it was between commentary stints, so they've I think done their lot there. But they know he's coming before he even sort of walks to the house.
Very perceptive.
Let's go crazy. I know. Poor chap. He's a very nice man. Here's Leach, floated up, driven down to long off.
It's very smart.
They take one run.
You've got a window cleaner, haven't you?
Yeah, I'm not good on ladders.
No.
And I can't imagine you are either.
No.
If you're honest.
Very wise. No.
Yeah, no, he's a nice chap, but I feel a bit sorry for him because you can hear the dogs going berserk. I think he does ours quite quickly to get away. 151 for 3. 1 ball to go in the 25th over, and then we've got 5 minutes to go until the tea break. Chandimal leans forward, just pops that ball back up the pitch again. Leach field. How are we getting with Sandra? Oh yes, the chat and transition is seamless.
Yes.
Bless you all. Long may you continue. Well, that's nice, Sandra. And you look after yourself.
Like a well-oiled
Yes, we are
machine.
all over the place. It's you're Alistair Cook with I drove him. I phoned him up this morning. 10 to 3.
Yes.
He's on the A1.
Ploughing down.
Down he goes. I know. But, that's an early old start for Cookie.
The night.
Well, these farming types. I mean,
They're up all times, aren't they?
well, I
Milking
think
cows
so.
and.
Absolutely, I think so. I think he's more of a sheep man, Cookie. Is he doing all right? How's his stamina at the moment? I can't
He's
see.
good. He's doing all right. He's
See,
doing all right.
I can't see. I suspect he's actually tucked up under the working desk there. It comes best bowls, and Matthews flicks us away to mid-on. See, we can all see each other because of the wonders of Zoom. But let's face it. Had you heard of Zoom 12 months ago? No, I hadn't. No idea what Zoom was.
Yeah, someone asked me to invest a load of money in it. Just missed out on that one. Story of my life.
I know.
It'll never catch on.
No. And yet here we are, so we can see each other, which is an interesting experience at 4:15.
Yeah.
Andy with his very smart backdrop there. I think we're back to the Oval, aren't we? 82, is that right? 1882, I mean, not 1982. This is pushed away by Chandimal for a single. Out to cover. Curran's the fielder. Busy too. They're scoring 3 and over. 153 for 3. Matthews 61, Chandimal 42. We've got probably another over to go after this one. And these two put on 77 together.
Seamless.
Yeah. That's one word for it, I suppose. It's floated up, worked away into the onside. A little bit of slow turn there, but it's sort of rewinding the first Test match in a way, with Sri Lanka batting first. But there's not.
Oh, he's just kissed his bat there, Angelo Matthews.
Did he?
Yes, he did. That was interesting.
I wonder why.
He just gave it a little twiddle and then kissed the middle of the bat.
It was a nondescript shot. It wasn't worthy of a kiss.
No.
This is flicked by Matthews, and he finds a gap this time. That's a deep mid-wicket. I remember Kevin Peterson scoring a century at Headingley, and I think his wife. It was fairly early days, I think, of married life for Kevin. And he blew a kiss down his bat as he scored his 100. He scored his 100, raised his bat, and then he sort of angled it to where she was, and off it went. As this kiss flew across the ground.
middle.
Yeah, absolutely. Over the wicket now. As Chandimal can flick that away to mid-wicket, but finds the fielder this time. I've never seen that happen before or since. I would
have probably missed.
Oh dear.
Would have missed it. I can remember. Do you remember Mahanamar, who used to play for Sri Lanka?
Yes,
he used to lick the end of his bat handle between end of an over.
Really?
Yes, he sort of used to. Yeah, strange.
Extraordinary. Another one worked into the onside with the turn. It was a very slow turn, but with the tide, you'd probably say Lawrence Fields. And it's 154 for 3. Yeah, I think we want more over before the tea break. Chandimal 42, Matthews 62. Well, the eagle-eyed amongst you, and if you haven't spotted it, have a look if you've got the pictures. When he next bats, but Joe Root has got a new twiddle.
Has he?
Yeah, and I asked him about it the other day. So I think I interviewed Joe. This is how crazy this job can be sometimes. I interviewed Joe Root 5 times in a week. And he's slightly running out of things to talk about, if I'm honest. Oh, he's a lovely chap and everything else. And he's always good fun. He always tries. But after 5 interviews in a week, you're getting a bit dry. So I went on to the twiddle. Because if you look at him now, when he's sets himself, most batsmen just get the bat and they just put it in their guard, don't they? And they're ready to face the next ball. Yeah. He twiddles it. He twiddles it while he's in position. I don't mean a twiddle while his bat's up, before he gets down. When he's in position, he does a twiddle.
Yes.
Well, he said it just gets some rhythm into his batting.
Well, that's what he said. I was listening to that interview that you did with him, because you said, what have you done technique-wise and everything. He said, well, not a lot technically-wise, but more about sort of, getting yourself in the zone and mentally preparing. So, yeah, it probably does.
It's a twiddle.
Yeah, that's the remedy for success.
Well, it certainly works for him.
Yeah.
It goes Leach again, bowls. So if you or I tried it, we'd twiddle and the bat would be the wrong way round, wouldn't it?
Yeah, we'd drop it, it'd hit the stumps, the bails and come
It just wouldn't work. I mean, Joe Root makes it just look so easy. No, it would be... you've got to be pretty good to be able to do that, I think. Twiddle in position.
Yeah.
And it be in the perfect place.
Yeah. Good twiddling.
Yeah. 154 for 3. Here's Leach, turned to mid-wicket.
Yeah, you've got a very good sort of rapport with old Joe now. I've been listening to those, and he always goes, no, Aggie.
Oh no, it's all right. No, because it's always hot. You're one bad performance away from obviously falling out with these people, or being critical and having to face them the next day. That's more the point. His Leach punched off the back foot. Matthews always maybe smile a bit some of the criticism that you get from, why didn't you ask him that? Why didn't you say you should resign? Why didn't you say? I say, well, actually, I might have to. He's got to front up again tomorrow. It's a very fine line.
He gave you a lovely look coming off at Headingley, didn't he?
Oh yes. There's Leach again. Played into the onside. That wasn't if looks could kill, wasn't it? But the players can happily say, actually, he was really horrible about me. He said, I'm not going to talk to him today, thanks very much, and walk off. So it's a very fine balance between being able to be critical, but do it in a way in which the player at least fronts up the next time.
I saw you going in there with the mic as he walked off and then sort of recoiled.
Well, this is short now and forced off the back foot to cover. It was Headingley, wasn't it, where everything had gone wrong. But all I said as he walked off, because I was waiting to, I thought I'd better try and redeem myself, because I've been quite critical about things. I said, well played, skipper, as he walked off. And he gave me the look of death. And Henry Moran happened to have took a photograph of it.
That's right.
Poor. Shiver my timbers. I went straight through me that one.
I've seen that photo.
Yeah, here's Leach again. 4 plays in onside. There's not all sweetness and light, the relationship between any of us, obviously. But anyway, he's on good form with us all at the moment. 155 for 3. Chandimal 42. And Matthews has 63. And that's where the players are going to go wandering off for a tea break. And that was very much Sri Lanka's session. And those two, well, they're such good players, aren't they? Calm, unraffled. 79 for 1. Let's make a note of that in the 27 overs that were scored. So Matthews 62 from 123 balls. Chandimal 43 from 82 balls. I'm going to be like a broken record, but I'm going to say that in 26 overs the spinners bowled 4 maidens between them. I know it's an old record, but it just illustrates the point that there isn't the pressure tuffers that have been put on the batsman.
I agree, and I'm just going to ask Andy here quickly before he nips off for a cup of tea. Angelo Matthews, I bet his average against England is the best of his averages against the country. I reckon he always seems to be a bit of a thorn in the side for England. But I make you right on the point about the spinners again. I think they've bowled better than the first Test match, though, John. This looks a little bit. I mean, the pitch is flat, as it should be, first day of a Test match, and they've done a reasonable holding job, but without any, penetration. But be very impressed with Jimmy Anderson. We say it again and again. 3 overs for 8 or something. And apart from that, England have looked just a little bit toothless. They haven't let Sri Lanka get away from her. But if they'll be thinking, a couple of wickets after tea, they'll be back in business.
Yeah, the Tirumani dismissal. If you were just to watch that cold,
You think, oh, why has he nicked that? You know, really. But it's classic Anderson. He wore him down, ball after ball after ball. Just every now and then, just from that little bit wider. Say, come on, and it's exactly what happened. I mean, his foot was nowhere near the pitch of the ball. He just felt that he had to just nudge at it. Nick gone. You know, it's just classic. Well, it's the pressure that we're talking about with the spinners, really.
Yeah.
Because he that's what happens when you do create pressure.
Yeah.
And it's classic Anderson.
And he bowled a beautiful over just after that as well to Angelo Matthews as well, which he had him just beautifully sort of just outside that top of off stump, and then just bowled him one a little bit wider. And it's the confidence. This is what the spinners don't have, is to, you know, use your skills and use your craft to, you know, pull people around the crease and get people playing at wide ones, but you've still got that immaculate length that then it does create the full shot. So yeah, it was an absolute masterclass by Jimmy Anderson, but I'm afraid in these conditions you can only have a couple of spells of that.
Yeah. Another cup of dandelion tea, Tuffers?
Yeah, lovely. I'm off.
Off you go. All right, Andy?
Angelo Matthews averages 48 against England. He has a better record against a number of other countries. He's been pretty consistent against most opposition. Averages 48, 2 centuries. This is his 9th 50-plus score in all in just 20 innings. The last 6 overs, to illustrate your point, by the spinners before tea, 17 singles, 19 dot balls.